Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Happy Thursday, everybody. Good to see you all here. Here, let me get the correct topic. There we go. Boom. Look at that. Today is a pick your own adventure sort of story. Although, just so that what Christians can force Christians to actually talk about something more substantial. There we go. Fix that. Fantastic. Howdy, everyone. Good to see you all here. Everyone, make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, and with your enemies. Guys, I had something weird happen today. I was on dude, interesting. Hey, Sean, thank you so much. I had a someone come on to so I have a friend named Equality, and they run lives, and I was just doing a live thing, and then someone comes along and yells out, "Hey, Zach, do you remember me?" I'm like, that's not my name. And they're like, yeah, don't pretend like you don't remember me. We went to high school together. Zach Hortness, I know who you are. And I'm like, dude, Dalton is my government name. I don't know who they thought I was, but it was funny. They were dead set on trying to out me for being Zach Hortness. But guys, I'm not that person. Maybe is there a guy named Zach Hortness that looks like me on social media? Now I gotta find out, you know. There is many like these live. Yep, there sure are, and thank Peggy for that, right? Dan Blackroyd says Hortness. That doesn't even sound like a real name. To be fair, there are a lot of people's names that don't sound like real names, but they are. Names are just silly. Read the Quran next. Oh, we'll get around to that pedophile book eventually. Rocky music, by the way. Oh, thank you so much, Red Furry. Much appreciated. Howdy, people on YouTube. Good to see you all here. It's actually 3 p.m. for me because I'm at Central Standard Time, Carrie. Let's see. There may be many that are the same, but none are better than the Bible Guy. Jaden, thank you so much. Much appreciated. I don't know about all that, but it's appreciated nonetheless. All right. So if you are a Christian and you would like to come up and like talk about one of the 5 points on the board, let's talk. I was going to say let's talk. Come on up. Let's have a conversation. I promise I don't bite unless you ask me to. As long as you are like the kind of person who's willing to be honest and answer my questions and be genuine, then, you know, it'll be a good conversation. Let's see. Dog, I ain't met one person smarter than you beside John and maybe Cody, not scripture. John Cohen and Justin from Deconstruction are both extremely smart cookies. And I bet there are lots of different areas in which those two gentlemen are far smarter than me. Everyone's got their let's talk about topic number 6. Everyone's got their own strengths and everyone's got their weaknesses. I haven't talked to Justin. Oh, you definitely got to check out Justin's channel at the Deconstruction Zone. That's our parent channel. Don't repeat the last thing I said. No, I'm doing it. Let's dock. I love that. I've been meaning to. Everyone has been wanting me to. Yeah, absolutely. Happy African Atheist says, brothers, I'm gonna need to teach you Swahili soon too, mate. Man, just another language to me to add to the roster, right? Like I'm debating as to what the next language I should learn is. Like, on the one hand, you know, people think I should learn Arabic so that I can talk about the Quran. But honestly, at this point, I'm just more interested in learning something fun Like maybe Elvish. That'd be fun. Put Swahili somewhere there. Nuns Ngoyama Bagatiti Baba. Sitehu Ngoyama Ngoyama. Ennis says he wished he was. That is true. Jesus, number one, is Jesus the Messiah. He wished he was, and he failed. Absolutely. French. French is sexy. Pardon, monsieur, est-ce que vous comprenez l'anglais? And I don't know a lot of French, but try to say Nicofiti for me. Nicofiti? I do. Hey, happy African atheist. I'm trusting you to not be having me say something really bad. But the closest thing I got to knowing French is like my impression of the skunk. Our love is like a red rose. Oh man. Please like and share and repost. Help the content being pushed out. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. Yep. As a Hakuna Matata. Sure. Yeah. Everyone knows Hakuna Matata. Pepe Le Pew. Yes. The rapist skunk. Oh. Nico Fiti is I'm all good. Like good, not just good. Oh, Nico Fiti. Absolutely. That is me right now, Nico Fiti. Anyways. Oh man. I saw this really funny picture one time. It was wait a minute. I wonder if I can actually find it to show you guys because it makes me giggle. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. I love. There's something so funny about this picture that makes me giggle. Here, let me show it to you guys. Go. Boom. Boom. Yeah, so it's like this realistic picture of there's a skunk and he gasps and he sees this kitty cat and he goes, "Oh, that skunk is going to be my girlfriend." Oh man. Next time I greet you, you gotta respond Nico Fiti. I will remember that. Absolutely. Oh man, that's so funny. The honest Christians are smart enough to not call in. Maybe that might be the case. I mean, listen, there are 37 people in here right now. Hopefully we'll get some more people in later. But if you're a Christian right now, I'm Dalton the Bible guy, atheist guy who likes to talk about the Bible. And I don't think Jesus was the Messiah. I don't think the Bible's true. I don't think he rose again from the dead. I don't think I should be a Christian, and I don't think the Bible has fulfilled prophecies. But if you would like to give me a reason to think otherwise, you are more than welcome to come on up and let's have a conversation. Well, I share the live with 20 friends. Hell yeah. 20 people. Hello, Dalton. How are you? Nico Fiti. And that's how I'm doing. I'm doing good. Let's see. Dalton's a nice guy. Don't be afraid. I am nice. Yeah. Like, I'm only mean if you like are the kind of person who refuses to answer questions. I'm going to be getting a haircut sometime this upcoming week, which I'm excited about because I hate having to wear a hat all the time. Guys, I've been wearing. You've probably noticed I've been wearing a hat for like a couple weeks now because like the hair is growing out again, and in this in between stage between bald and having hair, like it's that kind of stage. But I'm gonna get like a nice haircut sometime this upcoming week so I can feel, I got called handsome though recently today, so I'm pretty pumped about that. So I'm definitely going forward with this haircut. Hey, Jaden.
What's good? So I must know, am I a dumbass? Because I just realized there's two creation stories. Just last night, I just learned this, and I don't know how I didn't realize to begin with. And I also might sound shitty right now. I can't find my damn headphones.
Yeah, no, you're not alone in this. A lot of people aren't aware of the fact that there are two creation stories because, you just sort of assume that because, first story is here, then and then you like move on. You just sort of assume naturally that it should be just the progression of sequence, but in reality, it's two different creation myths that got punched together.
Yeah, I mean I argue the creation story all the time, so it really caught me off guard that I never realized that. And yeah, I was really shocked. Oh my God, I was so shocked about it. It pissed me off that I didn't realize it sooner.
No more bullshit, please. Says rock bald for Doug. No, not this. Not again. It's probably not going to be going bald again. That's for sure. I've been given some thoughts on that, and I'm probably not going to go for it again. I think longer hair would suit Dalton. I it would. It's just that I'm impatient, and I just the feeling of the hair on me. It just irks me.
Long ass hair. I have no idea what you feeling. I love having long hair. I got curly hair, so that's a perk, but
Sir Gamelaw says, bro wanna use Jewish apologetics to justify his prophet BS. Who wants to do that, Sir Gamelaw? A nice professional haircut is so worth it. Yeah. Dalton is getting all bonita. Love this.
I was in that live. I was in that live with the when you revealed everything.
Oh yeah. Love that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited for you, dude.
Yeah, me too, for sure. But anyways, enough about all that. Everyone, make sure you're tapping the screen. We're at almost 4,000 likes. I'm sure we can get to 10K likes, right? And then hopefully that'll bring in some opposition to come up and talk with us.
I got you, Dalton.
4D Curvature says, Jaden, why did you invite me here?
I'm just sharing the live.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kimberly. Much appreciated. Someone in the comment section is talking about the Lion King song. There is a line. Why not call yourself the Quran guy? Because unlike Christians, I don't like I don't like to talk about things that I'm not educated on. And like I'm not gonna call myself the Quran guy because like I don't know the Quran nearly as well as I know the Bible.
Imagine your new name becomes the Bible Quran guy. That wouldn't go well. I feel like that really wouldn't go well.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as easily, I think.
But I mean, I would also say that when it comes, because it's a pedophile book. That's what I like to call it. With Muhammad and everything, oh God. I mean, Moses himself can be considered that when you look at Numbers 31. I can't remember the exact verse off the top of my head, but yeah, you can.
All right, we got here Thomas. Thomas, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
So you're a bit faint. Could you get closer to the mic?
Okay, yeah, yes.
There we go.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes. And question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
Man,
Man is not a pronoun.
I don't know.
So
Man.
sure, that is your gender. Now, like, if someone were to refer to you in the third person, would they say he came up to the Bible Guy
He.
show, she, or they?
No, he.
He, okay. And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Which one of the 5 questions on the board do you think you might have a good answer for me?
Jesus rose from the dead.
All right, why should I think?
For that.
As far as I can tell, Jesus is dead. Why should I think he's rose from the dead?
Because people died for this theory. If you didn't die, why you take prosecution from others for something
That
doesn't matter, yeah?
that doesn't require Jesus to be alive. It just requires for people to mistakenly think that he was resurrected.
No, they say that they saw it.
That's what
People
that's what
saw it.
Yeah, you can like see things that aren't real though, right? Like I remember one time I was walking down the street on a hot summer day and I could have swore I saw a puddle of water and then it like disappears as I got close to it. Like you can see things that aren't necessarily real.
No,
Did you
they
say no?
say they ate with him. He like
You need to speak up. You're a bit
maybe you see something.
uh-huh.
Okay. Maybe you see something, but it's not actual. You can't die for that. Yeah, you are not sure what you see.
No, it depends on what it is that I'm
If you
hallucinating.
see it or not. Yeah, you
Yeah,
are not sure.
it depends on what I'm hallucinating. If like I'm a Jewish guy whose rabbi just died and I thought that my rabbi was the Messiah, and then I have like I'm grief stricken and I have a bereavement hallucination where I see my dead rabbi, I believe he's resurrected, I would be more than willing to like die for that. It wouldn't be based on anything true. Like the rabbi would still be very dead, but like my faulty like understanding of the situation would lead to me being willing to be martyred.
Yeah, I would definitely agree
Yeah.
with you here. And I'd also like to say that a lot of other people have died for false beliefs. People do it all the time. This isn't a special scenario at all.
Okay, but did you read what they are writing?
The
What they
writings
write,
of the writings of
like
who?
the Bible.
Yeah, I've read the
New
Bible.
Testament.
Yeah, I've read them.
Paul.
Yeah, I've read Paul.
You see that they are
Paul
not
just
stupid.
yeah, Paul just says in 1 Corinthians 15 that Jesus, quote, appeared to people, and that's perfectly explainable through naturalistic phenomenon like bereavement hallucination.
Well, just another thing. I did just recently learn that it would have
Yeah,
never
you
been
think,
possible for.
Well, one
like,
second,
if you
one second,
see,
Thomas. Jaden was in the middle of saying something.
It's no problem. But yeah, Paul would have never been able to meet Jesus because scholars estimate he was alive during 60 to 50 AD, while Jesus would have been alive during 30 AD to 33 AD is when he died. I'm sorry for saying alive there. When he had died is when that was time around. So it would have never been possible for Paul to have ever met Jesus. It would make no sense.
no, but he know him, yeah. You know
No.
that he know him because he live in the same country as Jesus.
No, Jesus lived in like
He
palace.
studied.
They
he
lived
studied-
perhaps lived on the same continent, but at least I don't have any reason to think that Paul lived in Jerusalem. I don't think that the Acts of the Apostles or the Gospels are historically true.
Yeah, like people mention Josephus, but I didn't read about him.
What about
But,
Josephus?
he said he's more than a man. He said.
No, he didn't.
And he said he's.
No.
He did.
No, the Testimonium Flavianum, Book 8. So what you're referencing is what's called the Judean Antiquities, Book 18, Chapter 3, Paragraph 3, commonly called the Testimonium Flavianum. And the majority of scholars are convinced, and for good reason, that this text is at least partially interpolated. The bits in the Testimonium where Josephus says things like, if it be lawful to call him a man, or he was the Christ, that's not something Josephus actually said. That was added in later.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is later than Paul, yeah? Like Paul is earlier than...
Yeah, all Paul says is that people had visions of Jesus. That's it.
But Paul can know him, yeah? Can know him as a man.
No, we have no indication that Paul ever
Paul
knew.
can see him.
We have
the Palestine and...
no, we have no indication from Paul's letters that he ever knew Jesus on earth.
Isn't it possible that he can see him? Maybe.
Possible that like Paul could have traveled from his homeland
My
to
network is bad, I
Jerusalem
think.
to meet Jesus? Possible, yes, but do we have any reason to think so? No.
Yeah, Galilee isn't in Israel.
Possible and like what we can say for
Yeah.
sure based on the data are two different things. It's possible, but like at the same time, like it's possible Jesus could have witnessed the birth of Josephus because that happened roughly around the same time. But like possible and like what we can say we believe based on the evidence are two different things. I have no data, no evidence to support that Jesus ever knew that Paul ever knew Jesus prior like to his like death.
See, that's the problem that I
Yeah,
brought up.
the same people, the same people who want to prosecute him, like the Jewish rabbi.
The
He is
problem,
like
They're not really
the student of them.
they're
Yeah,
not they're
Paul
not
is a
really
student of them.
no. We have no reason to think that.
Because he said, "I'm educated by." He's educated by Gamaliel.
No, he
the
never.
best
Paul
teacher
never.
of the
Paul never
Jewish
makes that
rabbi.
claim. Paul never makes that.
And
Paul never once.
he studied.
Can
He studied
no,
Old
Thomas.
Testament.
Thomas, can you show me where Paul himself said that he was a student of Gamaliel?
Yeah.
Yeah, where is that at in Paul's letters? Because Paul's not the one who makes
I
that
don't
claim.
know, I don't know.
Yeah, Paul's not the one who
But,
makes that claim. That's the Acts of the Apostles that makes that claim for Paul. Decades and
But,
decades and decades and decades after Paul's
but
already
he
dead.
studied
By the
Old
way,
Testament.
fun fact, Thomas,
I don't
stop, Thomas, stop
say
talking.
that, but-
Stop, Thomas, stop
Yeah.
talking while I'm talking. Paul never makes that claim for himself. That's the Acts of the Apostles that makes that claim. A book that we don't even know who it was written by, and it looks like it was probably written in the early 2nd century. So I have no reason to think that Paul was a student of any of the rabbis of Jerusalem.
Yeah, but apostolic successions, you know that, yeah?
Yeah, I don't
one
believe-
who teaches,
Yeah.
like ordained other, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care all that much for apostolic succession because like it doesn't matter if like you believe that there's like a chain of authority that goes back all the way to the apostles. What the apostles believed, there's no substance there. There's no reason to think that Jesus is no longer dead.
Yeah, okay. The first question is that, yeah, okay. So, you know, like my argument is they are not stupid. When you see stupid is the wrong word, I think. They
I
are
wouldn't
not,
call them
fool to
stupid.
believe their no, yeah, they
But
are not fool who can follow like their imaginations.
no,
and say Jesus comes from the dead.
that's
Yeah.
not the same as being stupid. They were naive. They weren't stupid. Like the apostles belonged to 1st century Palestinian culture, which was polyphasic in nature, while we are a monophasic culture. Like you and I recognize that there's reality, and then there's dreams and hallucinations, which aren't reflective of reality, and we call that a monophasic culture. They were a polyphasic culture, meaning that they understood all of life as being real, whether it's dreams or visions. If Peter has a bereavement hallucination where he hallucinates the dead Jesus after his crucifixion, in Peter's mind, that's Jesus alive, and they have no reason to distinguish. Like they don't have a concept of hallucination in their culture.
Yeah, okay. What about the empty tomb?
I don't have any evidence that Jesus was buried in a tomb. Why doesn't Paul ever mention an empty tomb?
No, it is because that is a correction, not the gospel. The gospel, they are writing it like how Jesus is born and everything.
The Gospels
But
are
the
myth.
correction is like
The Gospels are myth.
Your Corinthians, no,
Yes.
it's not a myth. It's actually they say.
We don't even.
I will write to
Thomas.
you what happened.
Thomas, we don't
from
even
the
know.
beginning, yeah.
Thomas, we don't even know who wrote the Gospels, and the timing of those writings. are in question, and they're full of contradictions. So like I have no reason to trust these as being
Contra-
historically reliable texts, and all we can really go off of is Paul's statements, and Paul never says anything about Jesus being buried in a tomb. If the empty tomb was such a strong argument for the resurrection,
But he said
why
he
why
said he
why
raised from
doesn't
the dead, yeah?
sure, but does he say that Jesus was buried in a tomb?
You know, how can he rise from the dead if he
Yeah,
don't die?
do you know what happens to crucifixion victims in Rome?
Yeah,
What happens to them?
they died. They will leave them 3 days something. When they die, they will bury them.
Yeah, they would throw
Yeah.
them into a pit with a bunch of other crucifixion victims. I have no reason to think that Jesus was an exception. All Paul says is that Jesus was buried, but he doesn't say buried in a tomb. So, and
Okay,
if there's this empty tomb that anyone can go look at, that would have been a very powerful apologetic move on Paul's point. Paul could have said, "Hey, look to the empty tomb. Where is his body?" No, but Paul never makes that argument, not once.
but he said he is buried as well, yeah?
Buried, sure. Like all crucifixion victims were buried in pits.
Okay. So now he buried. So he have to be like
You're a bit faint again.
aligned
Get closer to the
everything.
mic.
Okay. He should say everything like the other gospel writers do. He should write the same way. Because
No,
like
but
this is the Holy
no, but
Spirit guiding them. Yeah.
no, but it's interesting that we just don't get any talk of there being like a tomb that Jesus was buried in until like 40 years after he was dead, and that Paul wants to convince the people of Corinth that Jesus is resurrected, and the way he does that is not by citing an empty tomb, by just saying Jesus appeared to people. And we know that crucifixion victims were mostly thrown into pits. So, like, reason stands that Jesus was most likely thrown into a pit, and that Paul believed he was buried there and was raised and then appeared, and the evidence was in the appearing of Jesus, not in an empty tomb.
Okay. So at least he died and raised from the dead. He believed. Paul believed that. Yeah.
He believed
He
that,
buried.
but he believed it for
He
no good.
buried.
He believed it, but he believed it for no good reason.
Okay. Yeah. So like the woman saw the empty tomb and she told
Like
them,
who?
yeah, like Magdalene, Mary.
I'm not convinced that Mary Magdalene's a real person. That's a character from the Gospels.
So
Paul
if you
Paul
don't
Paul doesn't say anything about Mary Magdalene. He actually says, when he gives a list of the people that Jesus appeared to, the first person he lists in that list of people is Peter, not Mary Magdalene.
okay, I have to check that. But okay, you based your religion based on Paul, and we can talk about Paul. Yeah, maybe.
Did you say
You
my
see, you
religion?
believe.
Wait, I don't have a religion.
Yeah. No. Okay, you believe Paul more than the other gospel writers.
Yeah, because the
apostles,
gospel
yeah?
writers are unknown authors, and Paul is a known person.
Okay, Peter, he also believed in Jesus.
Sure.
Like all of them, like who preached the world to be converted to Jesus, believing in Jesus. All
The
are like apostles, yeah?
yes,
First 12 apostles.
yes.
So they should believe, all of them should believe in Jesus. Otherwise, that cannot be happening, yeah?
Yeah, all that's required for that to have begun is for Peter to have a bereavement hallucination, and tell the rest of the 12, I've seen the Lord, and then they pray and they fast and they feel like Jesus' presence in the room with them, and that's sufficient for them to also believe that he's been resurrected from the dead. It doesn't require that they actually have any real living experience with a post-mortem Jesus. I would need good reason to think that that's the case.
Yeah, like you say, like they are smart. You say they are smart, and
well, I didn't say they're smart. I just said
you
I didn't say they're smart. I didn't say they were smart. I just said I didn't say they were smart. I just said they weren't stupid. Like they could have just been of average intelligence, as far as I know.
So, like based on the text you have, Jesus is God, but
No,
what kind of proof do you want other
that's
than the gospel?
for you to figure out. Something that's a bit more substantial than a guy said something.
I would
Okay,
also.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe like you can see like the first like church fathers writing everything.
I don't care about the
They
church
defend this
fathers.
faith.
I don't care about the church fathers. They just inherited an established religion. So like their testimony is not testimony of anything true. They're just relating what they've been told.
Yeah, but they died for it. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's. This is what I can say. I don't know more than this.
Yeah, I did want to also just get what I was saying right, because I was a little bit off. I read this study about this. I refound the study. They determine here that Jesus likely died in 28 or 29 AD, while when it comes to Paul, the scholars believe that he was between 33 to 36 AD. Paul would have not been alive.
Oh, no, we don't know
Paul
when
would have
Paul.
been alive.
Yeah, we don't know when Paul. We don't know when Paul was born.
Interesting.
It's not
But yeah,
important.
according to this study, Paul wouldn't have been around when Jesus had died. So this leads to the fact of this was just a hallucination on Paul's end. That's all it was. I will fact check this study. I can even send it to you if you want, Dalton.
Yeah.
To look at it.
But anyways, so Thomas, you understand why I'm not convinced that Jesus isn't a big heckin' dead boy, right?
Yeah, but I can say any history, like I can say.
You need to speak. You need to speak up, Thomas. You're very light.
Okay, I can deny any history you give me. Like,
No,
they say
I'm not just Thomas. I'm not denying history. The Gospels aren't historical records. They can't be. It's impossible. Do you want to know why?
Because they have okay, yeah, why?
Yeah, like for example, are you familiar with the nativity stories of Jesus?
Like what's nativity? I don't know.
The birth
Like,
stories of
Thomas.
The birth stories of Jesus in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke.
Yeah.
One story says Jesus was born under the reign of King Herod the Great, who, by the way, died in 4 BCE. And the other one says that Jesus was born during the governorship of Quirinius, who became governor of Syria 10 years after Herod was dead. It is impossible for both of these stories to be true.
Okay. I have to ask Father. Say I don't know. For real, really. Okay, that's good point. Yeah. So this contradiction maybe
Again, you're faint again. You need to stay next. You need to stay next to the mic.
Okay. So this contradiction shows you don't not to believe in.
Oh, there's tons of them. Like who bought the field of blood? Was it Judas or was it like the men who that Judas betrayed Jesus to?
It is Judas, yeah.
In the gospel, I mean, actually, the apostles, it's Judas, but in the Gospel of Matthew, it says that it was the men, the Pharisees, who took the money and bought the field of blood. Then it goes on to say that this was to fulfill the words of the prophet Jeremiah, but it goes on to quote the prophet Zechariah, not Jeremiah.
Okay. I have to ask Zaki to
Closer to your mic, dog.
Yeah. Okay. It's a good point. Okay, 2 good points. But I have to ask them. Maybe they have answers. The church fathers, they have answers for all of that.
They have excuses. I don't think they have answers.
Yeah, historically they have answers, or culturally.
I mean, 5. Like you would agree that 2 plus 2 equal, and then the answer 5. 5 is an answer, but even though it's an answer, it doesn't mean it's correct.
Yeah, like I think Bible is written by guidance of Holy Spirit, so they will give like a different perspective of the history.
That can't be possibly true. Surely, like the Holy Spirit would know like the basics of like human anatomy, right?
Why? Why you say that?
Like shouldn't the Holy Spirit know how the human body works?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay, now here's a biology question for you. Let's see if God and the Holy Spirit is aware of this. What percentage of women bleed the first time they have intercourse?
Almost 99. I don't know.
No, only 43% of them. Do you know that
Really?
Yes. In fact, there's probably plenty of women right now in the comment section who did not bleed the first time they had sex. And do you know what the Bible says is the punishment for a woman who doesn't bleed the first time they have sex?
Yeah, they will drink something, yeah?
Nope. They get put to death.
Okay.
Why
But,
why doesn't God know how women's bodies work?
He knows,
That's worse.
to protect them
No,
from adultery.
that's not protecting anybody. That's actually, it's even worse if he does know, because that means he knows for a fact that there are lots of women who don't bleed the first time they have sex, and then he knows that he knows that they are still virgins and they haven't had sex, and he's putting them to death anyways.
Yeah, okay. But for example, in my culture, let's say, maybe they have the same culture. In my culture, like when a mother knows her child, her daughter is not, it doesn't have this, what is called, for virginity, doesn't have this skin, then she told everybody in the neighbor.
But that's not always the case. But that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Like,
so
do you think that there are women who don't bleed the first time, they are unaware that their hymen has broke or whatever, and then they get put to death for allegedly not being a virgin even though they are?
That is a weakness, because before she married, she knows about this culture, yeah? She have to check, maybe she checked it. Or
no, the Israelites, I mean, your culture might be a little bit more aware of this, but the Israelites just weren't aware of the fact that...
Yeah, we don't know for sure, yeah? We don't know. Maybe they have
all we know is that according to the law of Moses, it says that if a woman doesn't bleed the first time she has sex, she will be put to death. Meaning that 7 out of 10 women in ancient Israel who did not bleed and were put to death were killed unjustly.
By the way, I don't believe this science, like 7 out of 8.
You don't believe it? You don't believe the science? I'm sorry, but
no,
like the fact, exaggerated. No, it's not exaggerated. No, it's not exaggerated. The science, it doesn't matter whether or not you believe in it. The science is a fact, regardless of what you, Thomas, believe.
Literally, and
how many people have to check to say to do this calculation? 70% of women population is not. It doesn't have hymen.
Thomas, why are you talking about something that you weren't even aware of until like 5 minutes ago? Do you think that any of us are going to? Do you think any of us are going to take your like thoughts on this matter, other than and not the scientists who are actually doing the actual work? Who should we believe, Thomas or the scientists?
Do you? Okay. Do you believe like evolution? Like
yes, of course, but that's a pivot. Like of course, but wait. As a pivot.
Okay, do you believe in Big Bang, for
That's
example?
that's a pivot.
Brother,
I'll let you know. I accept the scientific consensus.
Okay. So, like, how many people are like examined to do this research? Because this is they didn't
You know what the
study all the
WHO is,
population of
Emmett?
people.
I mean, Thomas, sorry. The WHO, the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where these statistics are from.
Okay. How many people? How many?
I
Okay.
don't know. It's the it's
Did
the
you?
World Health Organization.
Okay. Did you tell them you didn't have hymen when you have sex the first time as a
I
woman?
didn't what?
Did you tell them? Did they ask you about your hymen when you have
Yes,
sex?
I did not bleed the first time I had intercourse, and I did not know that I wasn't going to, and it actually freaked me out because
Okay.
I was a
Did you tell
Christian.
them to WHO?
Did I tell
When
them
you
to
have
make sure?
Thomas, do you
no
think
no
that
that you have hymen?
Thomas, do you think that every single woman in the world needs to be interviewed in order for us to understand the percentages of women and how they bleed? If you say yes, you're demonstrating your ignorance on how the scientific process works. By the way, it was
And even if it was only one person, Thomas, that's still one person that would have been stoned. I mean, they shouldn't have been stoned anyway. We're completely jumping over that whole thing.
yeah.
But that's one person that would have been stoned unjustly. And it's something that either, like Dalton said, God didn't know or didn't give a fuck about.
How do you know if they
I
have a cultural mechanism to resolve it or not?
got the Oxford Academic, the Journal of Sexual Medicine, which did a pilot survey of 6,370 Russian-speaking women. This was just for Russian-speaking women, and the numbers even down to around 42% of them bled their first time, and the rest didn't.
Okay.
Seems
This
like
is a study.
seems like the numbers are pretty consistent. It's around 40% of women are the ones that bleed.
Yeah, when I asked you about Big Bang, you didn't answer.
Because we were talking about biology and not cosmology, and you want to pivot to another topic because you don't.
No,
This one's making you uncomfortable.
no, okay, let me say that. No, science sometimes they want to scientists they want to like they work for some government no government
Scientists don't work for the
companies.
government.
For
Scientists don't.
example,
The
yeah,
WHO is the
for
World
example,
Health Organization.
Yeah, the
okay, let
World
me
Health
finish.
Organization.
Okay.
They don't belong to any one government. Here we go. We're getting
Okay,
into the
for
conspiracy
example,
theory areas.
And I don't know, why would that be a conspiracy anyway? Like, this is also something that now Dalton can tell me specifically, but they wrote about this sort of thing in the is it the Talmud or something, where the
Yeah.
woman's like, oh, I started bleeding, and the guy believed her. We don't know what happened, but this is a known thing. Greeks wrote about this, Romans, like it's well known, especially amongst women.
I mean, not even just that. You're being really ignorant to the fact that we have women in the comments saying, "Hey, I'm one of them." And if you can disagree with the facts all you want, but there's people right now telling you, "Hey, I'm one of them."
Yeah, if I had been born back then, and this would have happened, I would have been stoned unjustly. Do you understand that? Because of this law that your God gave.
okay, like laws came God give laws like for general, yeah, for general people, for most of them. And I don't believe this science, like you
Okay,
bring up,
where's the
because
little
sometimes,
asterisk that says, but not
okay, let
everyone
me
should be
finish. Let
stoned?
me
Wait,
finish.
that's
Let me
telling.
finish.
No.
Let me
That's
finish that.
no. Because
Let,
that's telling what you just said. I do not. You say I don't believe the science. Well, luckily for us, Thomas, the science remains true, independent of what you think about it, Thomas. You're getting your ignorance. You're like shooting out your ignorance all over our faces non-consensually, and it just makes
okay,
you and your religion look worse when you
okay, but
deny science.
No, I didn't deny science.
Yes, you did.
I deny some sciences.
Yeah,
They are
no,
not
you don't
science.
get to pick and
They are not
choose.
science.
You don't get to pick and
Some of
choose.
them.
You don't get to pick and choose.
No, I don't believe in evolution. I don't believe in Big Bang. I don't believe in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you deny
denying
science.
science.
You're denying science.
Yeah,
That's
I
you're a
didn't.
science
Thomas,
denier.
I didn't. I like what is
Thomas, no,
science?
we're not.
We
No,
have
no,
to
no. You're
choose.
not going to pivot. No, you're not going to pivot away from this. Do you understand that me personally, even if it's no one else, me personally, I would have been stoned.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are
Okay.
so
Like. Okay. Do you believe? Okay. This science. Let me tell you. One science.
if you pivot
I
again to
read one science.
if you pivot again to something that's not about the topic, I'm gonna drop you.
Yeah. Oh, it's an example. I want to share with you.
You're on thin ice. If it's
Okay.
not
Like.
about, if it's not about if it's not about the topic, I will drop you. Think very clear.
Okay. What do you want about?
We're talking about women's many women's inability to bleed the first time they have sex.
Okay. So science. I don't believe this science is true. The
And give
consensus.
me a
I don't
good
believe this consensus is
reason why
true.
you do not accept the scientific findings. A good reason, other than that, just
Because like maybe they examine like 1,000 or 2,000 people, yeah, and they give a percentage. What if the more percentage of with what is with the skin
Thomas,
are lived outside of that
how do
consensus?
you find out what a percentage of the population experiences? You do it by taking a survey. And are you capable of surveying every single person on the planet? Do you think that's possible?
No, it's not possible.
Okay, this is how we take
So
surveys.
you cannot believe.
I have a
Yeah.
question for Thomas,
Yeah.
just real quick.
Go ahead and ask your question. He'll answer it, and then I'll drop him because I'm tired of him.
Thomas, have you taken a woman's virginity?
No.
Okay, and end of conversation. You have no experience, you have no knowledge, you have no idea what you're talking about. And the fact that you're even speaking on this issue is incredibly telling about who you are as a person and how you think. And I personally think that until you see women as people and until you actually have a sexual experience, maybe you should shut the fuck up. Okay?
Mic drop. Yeah, I mean, he didn't want to accept the science, and it had nothing to do with there being some sort of faulty method in the science. It only because either it made his God look stupid, or it made his God look like an asshole.
I just think it's incredibly telling of a person to speak on something that they have, one, no experience with, two, no knowledge of, and three, the complete arrogance to just say, no, you didn't experience that. What?
Yeah, it's wild. All right, we're gonna bring up Maddie WBB. Maddie, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Wait, what did you say, my bad?
Are you at least 18?
Yes.
What year were you born?
What year was I born?
Yes.
2005.
I don't believe it. Sorry, I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah, that's weird. No.
All right, Hearthflower. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm in my 40s.
And what pronouns do you go by?
She, her.
And are you a Christian?
I'm not. I just, I requested because making that conversation about the hymens of the victims is really wrong. It's those people there that are being sex trafficked in the book and brutally murdered and stoned, and the conversations are always about, well, it would be just if the hymen.
Oh no, I wasn't making the argument that it'd be just if all that. The whole point of that conversation was to show him that his God was too stupid that he didn't understand how women's bodies even worked.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
Hearth.
get
The
it.
thing is yeah, no. Never once did anyone up here say anything remotely close to what you just said. Not one time. In fact, we all
You
said the
said
direct opposite, right?
it.
We all
You
said that
said
what
it
he
would
was,
be just.
excuse me. We all said that what he was saying was a problem, and we were all trying to tell him how in multiple different ways. Like none of us ever said that any of that was okay.
Yeah, I agree that
Right.
like
How much the conversation was about the hymens, though?
yeah, because the entire point of the conversation was that his God was like this God who allegedly created human beings doesn't know how human bodies work, and it wasn't a conversation about whether or not it's okay to stone like virgins or non-virgins. I would say not okay to stone anyone for any reason, especially because of sexual purity, quote unquote sexual purity. But the entire conversation was only about the fact that Yahweh doesn't know how human bodies work, which is how we know that this text wasn't inspired by an actual all-knowing deity. That's it.
Yeah, no, I know. I appreciate your work, and I understood that in the conversation. I just, um, I know you can't bring up that they're children because then they'll detour over that, and they don't care if you stone people because they have no morals. It's just like, I just wish the conversation didn't get hijacked so bad that we're debating whether or not hymens, this, that, and the other with them. Like, they kind of take us all for a little joyride.
No,
Well, here's the thing,
the conversation didn't go to a drawer. It was exactly where I wanted the conversation being pointing out that his God doesn't know how women's bodies work.
And here's the thing, Hearth. As soon as we get into anything more, like anything more, right? So like of substance, like of what you're talking about, they can't handle it. That is the brutally honest truth. They cannot stay on that topic. So we have to stay on one specific semi-superficial thing, right? And it might sound superficial and it might be like, why are you talking about this? Why can't we focus on the bigger picture? Because the person that we're speaking to doesn't have the cognitive ability to do that.
And maybe they do, maybe they don't, but like he made the claim that his book was divinely inspired by the Holy Spirit. So like I was just showing him that, listen, if your God's all knowing and this book is divinely inspired, then the God would have known not to say something as silly as, if a woman doesn't bleed, then that means she's not a virgin. That's the entire purpose of the conversation. It was nothing more. We talked plenty about why it's not okay to stone virgins, because virginity, there is no physical difference between a virgin and a non-virgin. It's made up.
To be fair, Dalton, we talk about in general how in the book it's completely unjustified 99.9% of the time for any unalivements, let alone a completely violent, like ridiculously cruel unalivement, like hitting someone with rocks. That's just ridiculous. I can't even fathom it.
Yeah. But Hearthfire, thank you for coming up, and you have a wonderful day.
Well, thank you for speaking to them. Thank you for all your work. I appreciate you.
Much appreciated. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna read this super chat real quick from
at Sir Game a Lot with the $9.99. Praise to Peggy and her girthy goodness. Absolutely.
The true goddess of the gaps. Thank you so much, Sir Game a Lot, for your contribution to the Bible Guy channel. Nar, did I miss a nice guess? Yep. Are you Australian, Hourglass? Is that why you did that? So funny. Nar. Oh no. Oh no. The kangaroos got out. I don't know what you thought.
The War of Emus.
The Emu Wars is crazy. You guys, I want to see it. Well, I don't want to see it. But you know. God. Maddie says, "God bless. Peace out. See ya, fetus." Anyways, I'm not, but I love doing accents. I can barely speak English though. Yeah, same Z's. Oh, that's right, you're Brazilian because you were having the conversation in Brazilian. I don't know what the language of Brazil is. Spanish or something?
Portuguesa.
Portuguesa.
It's Portuguese. Yeah.
There we go.
I speak a little bit of Portuguese.
Oh,
Look at me go.
Portuguese is what I thought the a goose that lives on the porch. That's it. Portuguese.
That's I think that's a porcho goose. Patio goose.
Oh man. Anyways, everyone make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations. It looks like we've been live for an hour, so I'm going to do a quick restart on TikTok, and then we'll see you all again in just a quick moment. All right, let's see. Oh, I hate when people come up and tell me how to run my lives. Go run your own live, you know? Like, she's nice, but still. Like, I know what I'm doing. Lady of Heaven. Howdy, partner. Samantha, howdy. Oh, Lady, thank you for sharing the live. Much appreciated, partner. First, you sure are. I'm never first. Those are some fast restarts. Hey, I'm on it. Like with doing a restart on TikTok live studio on your computer. Fast work. All right, we got here cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 questions on the board do you think you might be able to give us a good answer for?
Well, I wanted to ask the question about, so I assume that you're asking, is the Bible true? Are you asking me to convince you that it is?
That its claims comport with reality, yes. If you think it is, I'd like to hear why you think that.
Yeah. My point of view is that I've seen historically and scientifically that the Bible was accurate per the words and the stories like Moses, Sodom and Gomorrah,
what about
Jesus while he was here.
What about the historically and scientifically inaccurate parts?
Accurate parts? I didn't say inaccurate, just the accurate parts.
No, yeah, but the Bible can get some things right, but if it also makes scientifically and historically inaccurate statements, that also kind of calls into question.
Yeah, I don't think it makes inaccurate statements, though. I guess that would be my question, and is what would be your truth? What do you need as truth? Because
truth?
the things that I believe might not be what you find truthful.
Yeah. So, for example, like, okay, before we get into this, I just got to check to make sure.
Sure.
Do you know the difference between a circle and a sphere?
Yes, I do.
And what would the differences be?
You want to pull up the actual definition through Google? Is that what you're asking?
No, just, I think it's simple enough that you'll be able to.
Circle is something you draw on a piece of paper. A sphere is actually a ball.
Yeah, the ball is 3-dimensional. Circle is 2-dimensional.
So see, this is the problem. I think it's. Hang on. Let me finish. See, this is the difference. You're looking for a certain answer every time you ask a question, and I guess that's what I'm wanting to hear from you.
Sure. What shape is the earth according to the Bible?
What truth are you looking for?
Truth is just truth. Truth just means that which comports to reality.
No, truth is definitely subjective.
No.
Yes,
it can't be. Like, for example, what's your favorite of ice cream? It's true for me that my favorite flavor of ice cream is cookie two-step. That would be like a subjective thing, but like
a great ice cream.
Like, am I holding a Dr. Pepper in my hand? That's not subjective. That's an objective truth.
Right. That's an objective truth.
Yeah. So I'm interested in whether or not the claims of if the Bible makes objectively true statements. So when the Bible just gives us a shape for the earth, does it say circle, or sphere?
No, it says compass.
No, it doesn't say compass.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, actually. I'm so sorry
Here,
that you don't agree.
Can you tell me the difference between the words hug and door?
No, I don't know the difference between those two.
A hug is a circle. A door is a sphere, a ball.
Yeah, in what language? I'm not familiar with that type of...
Hebrew.
Okay. Yeah, the best Hebrew word I know is Yahweh.
Okay. So which one, if I was to tell you that the Hebrew Bible uses one of those words to describe the shape of the earth, which one do you think it would pick? Door or hug?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer. I don't know the answer. I would be answering inaccurately.
Yeah. Hayoshev al hug haaretz, he sits upon the circle of the earth, is what Isaiah 40 verse 22 says. So it does describe the earth as a circle, and circles are flat.
Yes. All right. I guess my next question before we even get there, I assume that you believe the world is flat or round.
Yeah, the world is obviously a sphere.
Okay,
right?
I completely disagree.
Okay.
I disagree completely. What's your evidence that it's a round sphere?
I just assume that people are like, scientifically literate. But if you think the earth is flat, I mean, the Bible says the earth is flat, at least we agree on that. But I guess we'll just move on because I don't get into the details of the science without having an actual expert here. Because you could just
so
say
who's the expert then?
Actual scientists.
Scientists.
Yeah. People who have been educated.
Well, like the Michelson-Morley experiment?
I don't know what that is. See, like, we're not going to move forward with the conversation. So let's talk about history then. When did Herod the Great rule Judea?
Herod the Great ruled Judea? Yeah, I'm not familiar with the days.
So Herod ruled for Judea from 40 BCE to 4 BCE at his death. Does the Gospel of Matthew place Jesus' birth during the reign of King Herod the Great?
King Herod. Towards the end of his reign, yes.
Yeah, while he's still alive, right?
Right.
All right. Does the Gospel of Luke place Jesus' birth during the census under Quirinius?
Yeah, I don't know what the census of Quirinius is, and I would not be able to fact check you, so it would just be your opinion.
No, I can actually show you here.
Well, I would have to read the Bible to confirm all of those things.
Well, yeah, I'll pull up the Bible. So
okay. Remember, excerpts of the Bible are very difficult because you're only pulling a piece of the data. It's not chronological.
Sure, I would say. Anyways, let's see. Luke chapter 2. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house of family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged, who was expecting a child. So was Jesus born during the census under Quirinius?
I would not be able to answer you accurately because I don't know what this means. So I'd have to research that.
I just read it.
No, I understand, but I'm not going to answer without researching what Quirinius is and verifying actually what kind of and what text language is this?
English. This is English.
If you want to be disingenuous and make little laughy remarks, I don't have to be here.
You don't have to be
here.
here.
It's your POV. I'm just giving you my POV.
No, I just read it.
I'm just being honest with you. So if you want me to answer a question honestly, we just talked about Coriolis a second ago.
It's English.
Hang on.
Hold
on.
No. So I speak English. You speak
All
English.
Right, this is your last time. If you want to be disingenuous,
run away. Do it. See if I'll miss you.
It's not running. It's having standards.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, bud. Go ahead. Scuttle along. Disingenuous my ass. I just read to him. He asked me, what language is the text in? It's English. I'm sorry if you know what? Actually, I should have known that he was going to be illiterate because he's a flat earther. So that makes sense. I held a too high of a standard for him is the problem. Crazy. Hey, David.
Hey, I got a question for you, Mr. Bible Guy.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Genesis 4:5, where Cain, like God didn't like Cain's offering.
Yes.
Is there ever an explanation in the Bible for why God was displeased with that offering? Or was he just being petty?
It's just because he took just like grain. He didn't take the best of his grain, whilst Abel took the first of his flock, like the best choice. Like God wants the prime rib.
Okay, where is that in the doctrine?
Yeah, so we read prior to, we get this idea because it says here it says in the text. Let's see. Next, she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of the sheep, and Cain a tiller of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel, for his part, brought the firstlings of his flock, their fat portions. Like this, talking about the fat portions. He's talking about like he brought the very best of what he had. Meanwhile, Cain just brought the earth, the fruit of the earth, but like he didn't bring about the best that he had, and that's why Abel's was accepted over Cain's, which is meant to serve as a lesson to the Israelites that when you bring God your offerings, you bring him your very best.
Okay, thank you for the context. I appreciate it.
Happy to help. See, that's a person who wants to like actually learn what the Bible says, not a person who comes up here and goes, well, what language was that in? When it said Quirinius was the governor of Syria, I can't tell you whether or not Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Crazy work, right? Chat says Hebrews 11 verse 4. Ooh, let's take a look. Hebrews 11 verse 4. By faith Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain's. Through this he received approval as righteous, God himself giving approval to his gift. He died, but through his faith he still speaks. Yeah, he offered the better one. What is the name of the book of Bible you are reading? The New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. It is the scholarly standard for Bible translations. Because it's ecumenical. It's not like from one specific group. It's from multiple groups coming together and fact-checking each other, holding each other accountable, which is what makes it such a great translation. I like that Duncan removes question 6 and 7 for today. Yeah, because, we want to keep Christians talking about the Bible, and, they always go for number 6 because they're biblically illiterate. Hello, Camwise. ESV is also really good. I don't think so. I would disagree. ESV has a lot of biases based on it's made by a very specific group of people who have like very conservative leanings, and therefore they will translate their translation in accordance with those conservative leanings. Host, no religious book asks their followers to convince anyone. Did I ever make that claim? Just putting that out there. And while we got a moment here, guys, I'm going to plug something real quick. Give me a second. On this channel, as followers of Peggy, we love plugging shit. So let me just find this real quick. Now that I've got all of you fine people here. Let me see. I'm going to do this a couple times today, probably. Okay, let me see. There she is. All right, everyone. This is my friend Cam, also known as at Aragorn Lover. She's a rising star in the atheist community, and I would super duper appreciate it if you guys gave her. Here, let me make sure that on YouTube you guys can actually properly see the full image. There we go. At Aragorn Lover, Cam, go ahead. If you're on YouTube or TikTok, I don't care where you're at, go over to Cam and give her a follow. She's currently sitting at 2,593 followers. I think we can get her up, hopefully, to at least 5,000, and then we can, eventually get her up to 10K. Right, guys? Right? Chet already gave her a follow. Fantastic. You're a rock star, Chet. Love that. So go ahead, give her a follow, everyone. Let her and when you comment on her videos, tell her that I sent you. Fantastic. And Annabelle the doll says Cam is a goddess. I will not fight you on that. What is this about disciples? Disciple equals already a believer. Disciple just means student. Comes from the Greek mathetes, a student. Why does NRSVUE ensure with 3rd John? I don't understand the question, Tom. Dago, I guess gave you an answer. A disciple is a student. That's all that word means. It's like a disciplined one, hence the name disciple. Believe Women said, words don't mean words when you have Jesus. Yeah, that seems to be how they roll. Why does NRSVUE end with 3rd John? I mean, it doesn't. Mine ends in Revelation. You don't have to believe to learn, Dago. Like, you don't have to believe that Jesus is Messiah in order to be a student of his. If we were to travel back in time to the 1st century Palestine, there were lots of people who probably would have like followed Jesus around before they believed he was the Messiah. Is it worse to read a book you don't believe or believe a book you don't read? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Is it worse to read a book you don't believe? Well, I do that all the time. Like, I read fiction all the time, so I think it's worse to believe a book you haven't read. Jesus is the Messiah? Nah, I don't think so. Like, he didn't fulfill a single messianic prophecy. But H&M, if you want to come on up and give us any evidence that he fulfilled messianic prophecy, I'd love to have that conversation with you. Oh, there you are. HM, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation about Jesus being the Messiah. Are you at least 18?
Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by? What was
He,
that?
him.
Okay. And you're a Christian, yeah?
I am, yeah.
All right. So I don't think Jesus was Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecies.
Well, his genealogy fulfilled the prophecy. He from the line of David.
What genealogy? I got two of them in the Bible,
and
they contradict each other, and they make the claim that they're not even Jesus's genealogy. They're like Joseph's, and Joseph's not his dad, right?
Well, it doesn't. The idea that he fulfilled the genealogy is still maintained, even if it was like technically not his biological father.
Then it doesn't fulfill anything, because the Messiah is supposed to come from the seed of David, according to the flesh.
There's also a chance that, well, in one gospel it says that it was from Mary, another from Joseph, but it could have been using Joseph because they were simply naming the male's ancestors.
That doesn't make any sense. Like,
it could have meant father-in-law.
No, the author of Luke has a word for father-in-law and son-in-law. He could have used it, but he didn't. He said that Joseph was the son of Heli.
There was a word for father-in-law, but it's very possible that he just referred to him as a father. I don't think that's like out of possibility.
I think that's
I
think unless we have a good reason to believe that's true, not going to believe it. If the author of the Gospel of Luke has a word for father-in-law and son-in-law and doesn't use it, then I'm just going to assume he meant father and son.
Okay, so you're disregarding the other gospel as well?
Yeah, I disregard the Gospel of Matthew because it makes the claim that Jesus is a descendant of David through Jeconiah. And if you're a descendant of David through Jeconiah, you cannot be the king of Israel.
Okay. What about the fact that he was born in Bethlehem?
Messiah is not. There's no prophecy saying the Messiah is to be born in Bethlehem.
Yeah, it's in Micah.
All right, I'm going to bring up Micah chapter 5, verse 2. I'm going to read it out loud, and I want you to keep your ears perked up and tell me where you hear the word born or birthed. Okay, let's see. But you, O Bethlehem of Ephrathah, who are one of the little clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to rule in Israel, whose origin is from of old, from ancient days. Where did it say anything about a person being born in Bethlehem?
Well, it's about the Hebrew grammar of what it means when it says origin.
Do you speak Hebrew?
Right. No, I don't. But
then why are you making that claim?
Still no. Because I've studied it because I don't need to.
Really? Micah 5:2. Let's take a look. ואתה בית לחם אפרתה אציל לחיות באפי יהודה ממך ליצא לחיות מושל בישראל ומצאתיו מקדם מיומי עולם. All it says is that ממך ליצא לחיות, that shall come forward. It doesn't. There's nothing about the grammar that would insinuate birth.
Okay, but originating or from of old, from Bethlehem.
From the clan of Bethlehem, not from the city.
As in you're saying that it says from the clan of Bethlehem, not from the city.
Yeah.
Is it? You sure it doesn't say any, or it doesn't imply that he would be born in Bethlehem?
Not the city. No, he's going forth is from the clan of Bethlehem, which the clan of Bethlehem here is a reference to the Davidic lineage.
Okay. Do you believe that Jesus claimed to be the Messiah?
Probably claimed to be it, but lots of people claimed it. Also, Jesus couldn't fit this verse anyways because it says that this person is a Moshel B'Yisrael, a ruler in Israel, and Jesus was never a ruler in Israel.
Well, a ruler of Israel doesn't necessarily have to be the preconceived notion that he was a political ruler of Israel. I mean, I know that was the general consensus at the time, but that was their understanding.
A Davidic ruler in Israel is the king.
Yeah, but that could be a misunderstanding on the Jewish part.
No, a misunderstanding on the Jewish part. No.
Yeah.
I think the Jewish people are right here. It's not a misunderstanding on their part. If someone's a descendant of King David and is a ruler in Israel, it's because they're the king of Israel. In fact, we got other passages from Jeremiah that specifically say that this person would be king in Israel.
Okay. The virgin birth, by the way, is another prophecy anyways.
No, there is no virgin birth prophecy in the Hebrew Bible.
Well, yes, seed of the woman means to be born without.
No, seed of. No, that's. What do you think seed here? You don't think seed means sperm, do you?
No, it just means that.
It just means
seed of the woman doesn't just mean seed of the woman doesn't just mean you'll have a mother, because there would be no
sure, yeah,
stating that.
That's exactly what it means, because Hagar.
Well,
God says to does God not hear? Actually, let me pull up Genesis chapter 16. This is the story of when Hagar gets sent out, and what does the angel say to her? The angel of the Lord also said to her, "I will so greatly multiply your seed that they cannot be counted for multitude." Hagar has seed. She's not a virgin birth. Just means offspring, which is why most translations like the New Revised Standard Version Updated Edition translate the word Zerah as offspring, because that's all that's being communicated.
Okay. And you don't think he was, so you deny the lineage and the seed of the woman prophecy. Okay, that's fine. On the note of your third topic, which is, did Jesus rise from the dead?
So we are moving on from topic number 1 to topic number 3, just to be clear.
Is that all right?
Sure. As long as you're making it very clear.
Oh well, I mean, I can continue with the Messiah thing if you'd like. It's up to you.
Oh, it's up to you. As long as you're making it very clear that we are moving on from topic 1 to topic 2.
3, but yeah.
Topic 3, sure.
I would. So, do you believe in the empty tomb?
No, I'm not even convinced that Jesus was buried in a tomb.
Okay. Do you believe that Jesus was crucified?
Yep.
Okay. So about 80% of New Testament scholars believe that the tomb was empty.
Okay. Why?
So what's your argument against the tomb being?
So my question is, why do they believe that?
Well, the earliest manuscripts of Mark include the empty tomb, whereas it doesn't include sort of.
I don't believe the gospel. I don't believe in the Gospels. I think they're myths. We don't even know who wrote them.
You think? Well, there are some reasons to credit the Gospels to their believed authors.
I don't think they're any good reasons.
Well, by the end of the 1st century, it was pretty much consensus that they were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Whoa. We don't get any statement as to who wrote the 4 Gospels until the end of the 2nd century, bud. By Irenaeus of Lyons.
No.
Yeah.
That isn't true.
Here, what author do we have in the 1st century that tell us?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna get it for you now. So I can't remember the name of the source. Give me a second. It was an early church. Okay, yeah, you're right. 2nd century. Okay, Papias from 125 AD is within 30 years of, say, the Gospel of John, for example.
Papias tells us that Matthew wrote a gospel in Hebrew and it was a sayings gospel. Whatever that text is, it's not our Gospel of Matthew. Our Gospel of Matthew was written in Greek, and it's not a sayings gospel. In regards to Mark, he says that Mark wrote a gospel and it was completely out of order from the other gospels, but like the Gospel of Mark we have is in the same like order sequence of events as the Gospels of Matthew and Luke. So whatever text he's talking about isn't the Gospels of Matthew and Mark that we have.
Well, we have access to the early Greek manuscripts. They're very early on, so I would be surprised if they're completely.
Do you know our earliest Gospel of Matthew doesn't even have a title on it?
What do you mean it doesn't have a title?
It doesn't say the Gospel according to Matthew.
Yeah, but the earliest Gospel of Mark, for example, does have Mark's name on it.
Sure, but like we have clearly when if Mark is the first gospel written, it doesn't really make any sense for him to say the Gospel according to Mark. Like, why do you think the Gospels have those titles? The Gospel according to Matthew. Why doesn't he just say the Gospel?
No. I agree that the original Gospel written by Mark likely wouldn't have had according to Mark on it
because that's something to distinguish later. So I have no good reason to believe that these people wrote these Gospels. It's not like Paul's work where Paul actually signs his work.
When you're trying to establish the authorship of ancient manuscript, it's probably the best course is to take the earliest sources that give it a name.
So the late 2nd century.
Well,
because Papias isn't making reference to our Gospel of Mark.
I haven't heard that. Papias says that it's a different Gospel of Mark.
He says it's a gospel that's written completely out of order, which doesn't describe the Gospel of Mark we have.
I'm just going to check this. Sorry. I'm not saying you're lying or anything. I just want to check. Okay. I mean, the Gospel of Mark that we have now does seem to be pretty much in the same chronological order as the Gospel of Matthew, so that is strange that he would say that.
Papias writes, as quoted by Eusebius in the 4th century, Mark, having become the interpreter of Peter, wrote down accurately whatever he remembered, of the things said or done by the Lord, though not in order.
Okay. I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough. I'd have to look into that in more detail. So I think regardless, the empty tomb's credibility doesn't actually.
Where is this
what
empty
it comes
tomb?
from?
Because I'm aware
from,
of 3 different tombs for Jesus.
Well, the empty tomb, we don't actually, we can't be sure on what it is now from an archaeological point of view. But
would Paul have been aware of?
more,
Would Paul have been aware of an empty tomb?
well, Paul implies the empty tomb because he believed in the bodily resurrection of Christ, which would have to have an empty tomb.
Not really. All he says is that Jesus was buried. He doesn't say where, though. As far as you know, like, would anything in Paul's letters change if Jesus was buried in a pit with other crucifixion victims and then he just appeared to the apostles later? Would anything in Paul's letters change?
Well, I think if you read Paul's letters, you can kind of see that he believed in a bodily resurrection of Christ, not like
I disagree.
some kind of ghost.
Does Paul ever describe Jesus's post-resurrection body as being made of flesh and blood?
I'm not sure. Does he? I think he does.
I don't think he does. But does Paul describe
you don't even
Jesus?
believe Jesus.
Well, I'm just talking about what did Paul believe. So, and what we can tell from what Paul believed is based off what Paul writes. Does Paul describe Jesus after the resurrection as being a, quote, life-giving spirit?
Was that referring to his vision of Jesus, though? Because that may not have been a problem. Yeah, well, that's his appearance on the road to Damascus. That's not.
Well, road to Damascus is a fuzzy thing to reference here because I don't quite believe in Acts. But Paul just says that Jesus was a life-giving spirit after his resurrection. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. He's telling us what Jesus became after his death.
He's referring to his encounter with Jesus, not the disciples.
Does he think that Jesus's body is physical?
Yes, but Jesus can appear in a sort of vision state.
But it is
Paul.
But it is not. But it is not the spiritual that is first, but the physical, and then the spiritual. For the first man was made from the earth, made of dust. The second man is from heaven. As one of dust, so are those who are of the dust, and as one of heaven, so are those who are of heaven. The way that Paul describes, I mean, he says, what am I saying, brothers and sisters, is this: flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. He describes Jesus's resurrection using the analogy of a seed that is buried, and then like something rises forth, but it's not the seed that rises up, right?
No, it's not the seed, no.
Yeah, it's the thing that's within the seed that comes forth from the seed that rises up. And that's the analogy that he uses for the resurrection.
I mean, that could... I don't really see it. I don't think that's sufficient reason to say that he's speaking solely about a spiritual vision of Jesus, because generally speaking, when people encounter, when someone would have a vision, they wouldn't come to the conclusion that that person was alive.
Well, that depends. That depends on the person we're talking about. For example, if we're talking about non-Jews, sure, that makes sense. Non-Jews don't really have a concept of the resurrection of the dead. But if you have someone like Peter, who is grieving the death of his teacher, and then he has a bereavement hallucination where he sees Jesus, he has two options. He can either assume that Jesus is just a ghost and that God abandoned him to death, which would not be very like victorious and would not vindicate Jesus. Or cognitive dissonance hits in, and God has raised Jesus from the dead, and God is vindicating Jesus. Which one do you think would be more favorable towards Peter?
This obviously the second one, but I wouldn't see that if he was having a sort of morning hallucination, that he would share the same hallucination with other people and then be able to establish
he
a
doesn't need
church with
to.
a common consensus.
There's no necessity for that. All that's required is for Peter to go tell the rest of the 12, I've seen the Lord. They all sit around in a circle and pray and fast as religious Jews would do. And as soon as they feel like a presence with them, they feel the ecstasy that comes with like this sort of charismatic worship that we see in early Christianity and amongst Jewish people, then that feeling of presence would be enough to confirm for them what Peter is declaring to them. There's no necessity that they all see the same exact thing.
I don't think they would be able to like report the same things that Jesus did in the same way that he acted. They would have their own unique.
But we don't have any testimony from the apostles about Jesus, like them all seeing objectively an objective appearance of Jesus. We don't have anything like that in Paul's works. Paul never tells us anything like that.
It doesn't have to be. Well, I mean, the fact that you have the establishing of an early church where they had no recorded dispute over the actions of a post-resurrection Jesus Christ.
We don't know that. All we have is Paul. You don't know, like, first and foremost, like most people in the ancient world were illiterate. So like, even if there are disputes and questions about Jesus and his resurrection form, you wouldn't know about it, and neither would I. Because all we have is Paul. So we can't make the statement yes, there were disputes, or no, there weren't disputes.
Well, you're claiming all we have is Paul, even though we have 4 first-century autobiographical records of Jesus' life.
We have 4 stories about Jesus that contain a lot of like falsehoods. Like you would admit that the nativity stories of Jesus, they can't be both true.
Because they're written by man, so they're going to have contradictions. They're going to refer to incorrect sources or something like that. But when you have multiply independent attested things, like, for an example, the feeding of the 5,000.
But it's not really multiple attested, though. Like, the persons who wrote Matthew and Luke, they had Mark at their disposal to write their gospel. So it's not really multiple attested. It's I'm using this as a source and then like creating my own story.
Do you agree that the Gospel of John,
the author of John, I think also had... No, I don't think so.
It just is. The Gospel of John is independent from the other 3 Gospels.
I don't have any good reason to think that. Especially the sense that it almost looks like the author of John is sort of rebutting the author of the Gospel of Luke, who the author of the Gospel of Luke has this like parable about a man named Lazarus. And like the question is, well, resurrect Lazarus and then they will believe. And the point of the gospel is, no, even if they had resurrected Lazarus, they would not believe. They have the words of Moses. And then like John's over here with his gospel, he's got a character named Lazarus who does get resurrected. And at the end of the book, it tells us, and all of this was written so that you might believe. It's almost like he's rebutting the theology of the author of the Gospel of Luke.
I don't think that shows that he's rebutting the authority of the Gospel of Luke.
Makes sense to me.
I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood what you said. Could you just reiterate that? Sorry.
Reiterate what?
I don't really see how that... What you've just said about Lazarus.
Yeah, one gospel has a character named Lazarus who the author refuses to resurrect because no one would believe as a result, and because they have the works of Moses. The other gospel has a character named Lazarus that does get resurrected so that you will believe. Interesting, isn't it?
Wouldn't it be possible that the gospel, the writer of the Gospel of Luke didn't know of the resurrection of Lazarus?
Yeah, of course, because that story hadn't been invented yet. The author of John is responding to the Gospel of Luke, not the other way around.
Well, not that it was invented, but that he just wasn't aware of it.
Because it hadn't been invented yet. Because I don't think it's a true story. Like even if like there are like nuggets of historical truth in the synoptic Gospels, I think John's entirely fictional, beginning to end.
Well, there's been archaeological confirmations of certain things in the Gospel of John, like the pool with 5 porticos.
So
like,
the author,
like some kind of
a
lot of things that are often described as
King's Cross Station,
mythological in the Gospel of John, or places that didn't really exist.
King's Cross Station exists in real life. Does that mean Harry Potter's true?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
King's Cross Station exists. Does that mean Harry Potter is true?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'll say it one last time. King's Cross Station exists. Does that mean Harry Potter is true?
Oh, okay, I got you. No, it doesn't. I'm not saying that that's
so. The author of John referencing the pool of Salome. You got a horrible echo now.
Can you hear me normally now?
I can hear you normally, but I'm echoing on your end.
Okay, let me. Okay, can you hear yourself?
Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2. Yeah.
Still an echo?
Yep.
Could I leave and rejoin?
Yeah, you can try. God damn, I hate my ADHD because I am incapable of having a conversation if I can hear my own echo.
Okay, try out now.
Check 1 2 3. All good.
Okay.
So let's try to get this back on track on the resurrection. So, like, why should I think Jesus isn't a heckin' dead boy?
Well, I would, if I was to make my case, I would say there is no body of Jesus. That's obviously not proof that he's definitely resurrected.
Yeah, you wouldn't accept that. You would not accept that answer for anyone else, though.
No. I haven't made my full point. So there's no body of Jesus. The tomb being empty seems to be widely accepted by scholars, mostly because of the fact that it's attested in all 4 Gospels. There's also the criterion of embarrassment for the fact that women discovered the empty tomb.
That's not embarrassing. That's expected. If I invented an empty tomb story for Jesus, let's say like Jesus didn't have an empty tomb and I wanted to invent that story, the obvious person that you would have discover the empty tomb would be women.
How come?
Because who dresses up the bodies of the dead? Who anoints them? Who perfumes the bodies?
Sorry?
Who perfumes the bodies of the dead? Oh.
Wait 1 second. I've got to go for a second. You can put someone else in. I was gonna Mary Magdalene, right? So and women in general. So yes, I understand that. But my point was more that if you were to create a story like that, then you would probably seek to have disciples as your chief witnesses.
That's why the women, no one believes the women, and then you go tell the men, and the men return, and then it's confirmed. If it had just been the women, no one would have given a fuck. But you have the women discover it because that's what the story would demand if you wanted to sound realistic. You would never have the men discover the tomb, but the men don't believe the women and call them silly. And then only once the men arrive, then it's confirmed.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I've got to go now, but thank you for the conversation.
You too. Have a good day. Overall, good conversation, I think. I actually like that one. We're going to read some super chats and then we'll bring up Final Flash 2019 as our next guest. We have here
at House 70 with the $10. If an empty tomb would prove the resurrection myth, then judging by the sheer number of empty tombs in the world, there is an army of Jesus walking the planet right now. Ridiculous.
A giant army of Jesus is hilarious. Yeah, I don't know why people keep arguing for like where's the body, even if like even if we did have a tomb for Jesus, actually, I actually one could make the argument that if the Talpiot tomb is authentically the tomb of Jesus, then we know exactly where the body is. But at this point, the body isn't a body anymore; it's bones. So that's another thing.
At the Viking chief with chef with 5 pounds, right? There you go now. Phil the Bible guy and Selmo keep cooking Val. You rule.
No, you rule, Viking chef. Good to see you, bud. And
at Nicotine Beans with the $5. I'm watching on vertical, but it only shows a piece of your right side and not the whole picture.
Okay, so yeah, if you on YouTube, YouTube has this. I wonder if there's a way for me to fix this on YouTube, because I'll show you guys exactly what this individual was talking about. So on, let's see on YouTube, this is what I see. There's the horizontal stream. There's so many Daltons or Dalton's eye on the screen, and then the YouTube has this new feature where it says dual stream, automatically generate a vertical cropped version for the shorts feed, and then you'll. But I don't know how to fix it to where it'll actually center on my face. That would be fantastic if I could find a way to affect that. But I don't see any way of taking care of that. So that's why that person's, it's not talking about the TikTok vertical stream. They're talking about the YouTube vertical stream. But here, hey there, Nicotine Beans. Fantastic. But that's why, that way people on the shorts feed can find us. Lovely. All right.
And we're gonna now we're gonna bring up our next guest.
Mind Flash 2019. Mind Flash, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Well, there's only a male and female.
Well, those are sexes, bud. Those are sexes. Those are sexes. So what?
Pay attention to that stuff. What does that have to do with the Bible?
You don't you know pronouns are in the Bible, right?
What do you mean then?
God says, "I am He." That's God giving us His pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
So what pronouns do you go by?
He, she. Those are he and she.
You go by he and she?
No, me, I go by he, but I'm talking about
there you go.
Those are the ones I use.
You go by he, him. Fantastic. And are you a Christian?
Yes. Are you?
No, I'm an atheist. So I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Which one of the 5 questions on the board do you think you'd like to give us a good answer for?
Is the Bible true? Why should I be a Christian?
All right. Tell me, Final Flash, why should I be a Christian?
Because if not, you'll go to hell.
But I don't believe in hell.
Well, there's somewhere. They even talked about it being Abraham's bosom there for a while. Now, I'm a young Christian, so I'm still learning the Bible.
But
so bear with me, okay?
Yeah, sure. So, Final Flash, if I was like let's say I had a religion called Gimbal Switch, and I said you should be a Gimbal Switchian, and you asked me why should I be a Gimbal Switchian, and I said because if you don't, then the Flimmenbog will come and get you. Like for you, that's probably not a reason to be a Gimbal Switchian, because like what did I say, the Flimbog or whatever, you don't believe that exists, so like that's not really a good reason for you to be a Gimbal Switchian, right?
No, there wouldn't be nothing that backed it up. Like everything is backed up in the Bible.
Well, the Bible's just a claim. I don't believe the Bible is true.
So what prophecies are you talking about that he's not fulfilled?
Whoa,
If you're not
whoa.
saying he's the Messiah, was you saying that he
Are we-
was a prophet?
Are we moving from number 4 to number 1?
A little bit of 5 and 1. But
5 and 1.
I'll
All
go
right.
back to 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I have ADHD too, and I get off topic real quick too.
That's fine. I mean, I guess it's tangentially related. Like, I definitely can't be a Christian if Jesus isn't the Messiah, and he didn't fulfill any prophecies about the Messiah in the Old Testament. So I definitely can't be a Christian. Like, in order to be a Christian, I have to believe in Christianity, and or to believe in Christianity, I gotta be convinced, and it's just not all that convincing.
So do you believe in the Old Testament?
No, but like, let's say I was a Jewish people believe in the Old Testament, and they have no reason to believe that Jesus was the prophesied Messiah.
A lot of them doesn't believe that.
Yeah, because like he didn't
But
fulfill.
for the king, you say there was something about the rulers of being a king. He was a king of kings.
No, he's
And
not.
He'll rule again whenever he comes back.
He's not a
It says
king.
it in there. Even in Revelations, he has
That's-
a light on. He'll have a light, like
Uh-huh.
a tattoo on his leg that says King of Kings.
That's some crazy acid trip that the author of the book of Revelation was having about the future. But like, objectively, I
we know
don't see any evidence that Jesus was or will be a king.
So Luke, most of it was wrote from the witnesses who saw everything.
Really, what are their names?
Luke got most of his from Mary.
So where
Jesus' mom.
does the Gospel of Luke say that?
Look it up. And wasn't there a thing where there was a DNA test of Jesus' blood?
I have looked it up. It doesn't say that in the Gospel of Luke that he got his information from Mary. That's not true. And also, no, there's no way of testing
Where'd you look
Jesus.
it up at? Hopefully not
The
Wikipedia.
Gospel of Luke, I read it. It doesn't say that it gets its information from Mary.
So why are you doing this if you don't believe in it?
To see if anyone has good arguments for
To
why
try
I
to
should
turn
believe.
people away from it?
That's a good bonus, but honestly, like if it turns out it's true, I would like to know. But so far, no one really has good arguments
Was you
for
ever
why
a Christian before?
I was. Yes, very much. I was a hardcore
What
Christian.
made you go away from it?
I read the Bible and studied it, and it became very obvious that it wasn't true.
How do you not? Name one of the things that you saw that wasn't true?
Yeah, like Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecies, and the Bible makes a claim that the earth is
What
flat.
prophecies, though?
He didn't bring about peace to the world. He didn't do that, right?
No, the peace of the world doesn't happen until later when they're after the Antichrist.
So not fulfilled. He didn't build the temple and reestablish the sacrificial system.
You still don't think he could do this stuff even from heaven? Did it say he had to do it as a man?
Well, I don't think Jesus is in heaven because heaven doesn't exist. But besides that, if it hasn't been fulfilled yet, then it's an unfulfilled prophecy. Like, do you know who the Rebbe is?
No clue.
The Rebbe was like a really prominent leader in Judaism in the 1990s amongst a very specific sect of Judaism called Chabad Lubavitch. And there were lots of people who thought maybe that the Rebbe was going to be the Messiah, and then he died. And a lot of people stopped believing, but there's still like a group of Jewish people in Harlem today, Harlem, New York, that believe that the Rebbe is the Messiah and that he'll just fulfill all those prophecies when he returns. Like, what's the difference?
What makes you believe that one and not the other?
I don't believe that one. I think both Jesus and the Rebbe are both not the Messiah. I think they're just both dead.
Well, I think the devil's going to try to put ideals in everybody's head to not believe Jesus actually was real.
I don't believe in the devil too. That's just
You don't believe in the devil either?
No, that's just why would
I
I?
thought that's what you were going to say.
If I don't believe in God, why would I believe in the devil? That's just like the Christian boogeyman. That's the monster in the closet.
So whenever you when you did go to church, did you believe in the Old Testament at least?
Yeah, I believed in the entire.
Contradict itself too.
What?
Did it have spots that didn't seem right to you in the Old Testament too?
Oh yeah, like the Old Testament can't even agree as to who killed Goliath. One book says that David killed Goliath. Another book says that it was a man named Elhanan who killed Goliath.
What other book says that?
2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 9. Yeah. Well, the King James slips in a word in there to try to fix it. But in the original Hebrew, it just says that Elhanan, the son of Jehoiargim, killed Goliath. Not David.
Do you know how to read Hebrew?
Yes, I learned Hebrew when I was Christian.
That's pretty cool.
Learning Hebrew was one of the things that led me away from Jesus, actually.
So what did you say to turn to again? Second Samuel?
2 Samuel chapter 21 verse 19.
And you're pretty smart on it to know it by heart. Must be this question comes up a lot.
Yeah. Here, I can pull it up on the screen if you want. I'll even pull it up in the King James Version Bible. Here, take a look at the screen. Boop and boop. Oh, let me put that over there. See that? And this is what it says in the King James Version Bible. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jehoiargim, a Bethlehemite, slew, and then you see how it's in italics. It says the brother in italics. And then it says the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. There's a reason, by the way, why in the King James Version Bible, the words the brother of are in italics. That's meant to tell you, the reader, that that's not in the original text, which if we scroll down, when it gets to the part where it says the brother of, here's the brother of, and do you see the corresponding Hebrew word?
Yeah.
It's not there.
Where are you on? Oh, you're on Blue Letter. That is a good one. I got that on my phone. So who was that guy? Was that another name for David or something?
No, it's a completely different person. His name was Elhanan, and he was the son of Jehoiargim, which David's dad was Jesse. It's just a different guy, different legend.
Of Goliath.
Well,
they're not saying he killed Goliath. They're saying he killed his brothers.
No. Notice Notice what I showed you here in the text. It doesn't actually say, like your English Bible translation says the brother of Goliath, but in the original language, in the original Bible that this was written in, it doesn't say the brother of Goliath. That's why here on Blue Letter Bible, when you look at the word the brother of, and you look at the corresponding Hebrew, it's blank, because there is no. It doesn't say that he killed at Goliath Hagittite, the brother of Goliath the Gittite. It just says he killed Goliath the Gittite. The King James is adding words to your Bible to try to fix the problem with what the original Bible actually says.
So you don't believe the Hebrew side either at all?
Do I believe the Hebrew? I mean, it's quite possible that there was a man named Elhanan who killed a really tall guy, but the Hebrew just disagrees with what your translation says. Is what I'm pointing out.
So if you actually did believe in the Bible, you would still think that Jesus wasn't the Messiah?
Oh yeah, because he didn't fulfill any prophecies from the Old Testament.
Was there a set time frame for that?
A set time frame? No, it's just that if someone doesn't fulfill the prophecies, then they're not the Messiah. Like, if someone tells you one day
did it, then he would.
Yeah, but that hasn't happened. I would believe that the Rebbe would be the Messiah if he came back and did it, but like, that's something we could just say about every failed Messiah. They'll just do it when they return.
Yeah. So you don't believe that the Antichrist or anything like that's going to happen?
Nah, I think that's all fake.
They're pretty good at putting the whole thing together that's fake.
Not really. Most of the book of Revelation is actually not about the 21st century. It's about like the 1st and 2nd century CE. It's about things that, like, the author of the book of Revelation actually thinks that Jesus is going to return soon from their perspective, but he didn't. It's because the
So what makes you think
Gospels.
that he was talking about a different century? Like, where did you get that from?
Yeah, it says in the book of Revelation, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which he gave to his servant concerning the things which must soon come to pass. And that's because Christians in the first century, including the authors of the New Testament, thought Jesus was going to return in their lifetime. And even to the point that the gospel author Matthew has Jesus telling the disciples that some of them would remain alive when he returns, but they all died and he didn't return.
So the Bible doesn't have anything about the rapture. What's it say in the Hebrew side when it talks about people will just float up and the dead will rise?
Well, that's in the New Testament, which is written in Greek.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry. New Christian years.
Yeah, but Jesus himself says in Gospel of Matthew chapter 16 that there are some of you standing here, talking to his disciples, there are some of you standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. But they all died and it never happened.
So are some of these people believing that his body is still would be on earth? But then there's another scripture that says that they'll say that they found my body, but it'll be wrong.
It
won't be true.
That has nothing to do with what I just said. If I told you,
I know it didn't. That was another question.
If let's say that let's say I was leaving. Let's say I had like 5 kids, and I'm leaving to go to work or something. I tell the kids, some of you will still be awake when I return from work, and then like they all fall asleep and I haven't come back. What I said wasn't true, right?
Pretty much.
And if Jesus says that there are some of you standing here who will not taste death before they see me return, and they all are dead now, and Jesus didn't return, then he was wrong.
Well, it's very confusing what the death really is in the Bible. Some say that it's just a sleeping. They're just sleeping.
No, I mean, but they're all dead. All the disciples are dead, right? Like they're all sleeping the sleep of death. Sleep is just used as a euphemism for death.
That part of the Bible is a little weird to me.
Oh, that's just the Bible using the word sleep to describe death, because when you're dead, it looks like you're sleeping. So that's when it says that they're sleeping, it just means they're dead. It's like saying when a boss says we're gonna let you go, that's just another way of saying we're firing you. Sleeping is just a way of softening the language, because they think that one day they'll resurrect and therefore wake up. But like when Jesus says some of you will not taste death, they all tasted death though. They're all dead.
Well, he came back after 3 days.
No. The coming back, he said that they will see that he will come to bring judgment and will appear with his glory, all the glorious angels. That's referring to the second coming, the parousia, as it's called in Christian theology. And it didn't happen. They all died and Jesus didn't return with all his glory.
And you must have went through something pretty bad to not, other than just believe the Bible.
No, I've had a great life. I just read the Bible.
So you never saw like any like miracles that were unexplained in front of you or anything like that?
Nope. All of them were perfectly explained.
All right, so there's this woman. She goes around baptizing people, 2,000 to 3,000 people at a time.
Are you going to be able to demonstrate the thing you're saying, or is it just going to be a story?
Well, you can watch the video on it. It's on YouTube. What is her name?
This would be convincing. If you could have someone who has like missing an arm, and if Jesuser praise over her, and the arm grows back, that would be convincing. And we have to grow back instantly. That would be convincing. But like, I had cancer, and then they prayed for me, and then my cancer went away. Well, cancer goes away on its own all the time. It's these healings are never things that are actually impossible. They're always things that could have happened naturally on their own, or coincidences.
So this guy was in a wheelchair and couldn't walk. He went down, baptized, came back up and walked out.
Adrenaline. I would have to know everything about his medical history. Like these are just like, this is the reason we don't accept these.
I don't know about all that.
There's a reason why we don't accept these sort of stories as evidence, because we're not going to be able to fact check the appropriate things to know. Now, if you wanted to prove that Jesus could actually heal, this would be the best thing for you to do. Get a group of people who have all these different ailments, like 50 people with all these ailments, get one Christian, have the Christian, and then test these people beforehand so we know for a fact that they have these ailments. Have the Christian pray for them and then immediately test them for the ailment to see if they still have it. And if we have and if it's like repeatedly 100% all these people are being healed, that would be evidence that something's happening, but nothing like that ever happens.
Well, God chooses what he does. He wouldn't just do it because we were asking of it.
Then
Everything has a reason and run.
Jesus says, if you ask for anything in my name, it will be given to you. Keep knocking and the door will be open.
Answered true.
No, he says
it'll answer it the way you want it.
No, he says ask of anything in my name and it will be given to you.
Yeah, but it's not always the way you wanted it.
But Jesus didn't say that.
You got trials.
Nope, that's not what Jesus
The test
said.
of your faith.
That's not what Jesus said.
I ain't saying about Jesus.
But you're just making something up to cope for the fact that prayer doesn't actually always get answered. It looks like the rate at which prayer gets answered is the same rate as chance. Sometimes, like if a God's just saying yes and no,
does get answered, but it doesn't always get answered the way you want it.
It also just doesn't get answered. So like it seems like sometimes it gets answered, sometimes it doesn't. It's happening at the same rate as like flipping a coin.
So you gotta have faith with it.
Faith isn't good. Not
you
good.
don't have that. He wouldn't.
Faith is useless.
Faith is what?
Faith is useless. So let's say let's say that Christianity is true. For example, you have faith and it leads you to Jesus, and a Muslim has faith and it leads them to Muhammad. If faith can get you to the truth and to a falsehood, then faith isn't really a good mechanism for getting to the truth. You might as well flip a coin at that point. If you're the kind of person who wants to believe as many true things as possible and to disbelieve as many false things as possible, faith is not a good tool to use to get to the truth.
What's your definition of faith?
Belief without evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very productive.
What's the definition of faith in the Bible?
Yeah, belief without evidence. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 verse 1. That's basically the same thing I just said. It's not very.
I respect you for being good to people that come up here, and I wish I knew a lot more better. But it was an honor talking to you, though. But you might want to get somebody up here that knows more about this stuff. But thank you for letting me come up, though.
Absolutely, thank you for being a kind guest, and you have a good day, Final Flash.
You too.
All right, we got some more super chats. And then we'll move on to Tiki Taki.
At Mind Forged a Miracle with the $5. There were obviously disputes given Paul kept having to correct the teachings and practices of Christian groups. Yeah.
There were definitely disputes of theology in the early church. Like Paul and Paul and the author of James use the same exact Bible passage and come to completely different conclusions as a result. They both use the story of Abraham, and then Paul says, "See therefore it wasn't by works but by faith." And then the author of James uses the same exact story and says, "See, it was by works and faith and not by faith alone." Like there's obviously some sort of contention in the early church. That's why there were some people who were claiming that Paul was a false apostle.
And I House 70 with the $5. Christians. Gospels written by people gonna have mistakes. Also Christians. Take your gospels to their word. RIP basic logical thinking. Yeah.
It's always the divinely inspired word of God until the problems get brought up, and then, well, they're just human authors. They're just human authors. And
at Nicotine Beans with the $5. I watched a dinosaur documentary yesterday that said a human lifespan is short because of dinosaurs.
What? I watched a dinosaur documentary yesterday that said a human's lifespan is short because of dinosaurs. What documentary was this, Nicotine Beans? I would love to know, like, how the dinosaurs had any effect on the span of my life. Please illuminate me. I am curious now. You've piqued my curiosity. Let's see. Let's see. We've domesticated chickens. Checkmate dinosaurs. The irony of that, chickens are, I've saw this before. It made me laugh. Chickens are the descendant of dinosaurs. And then we kill the chickens, turn them into chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs. Love that. All right. No, sir. I'm got to. Nope. You gotta turn off that. All right. Bye.
Is that tiki-talkie person still wanting to come up? Because they were talking a lot of shit in the comments, man. They said that you have.
They disappeared as soon as I was about to bring them up. Interesting. They felt brave until it was their turn. Oh well.
No songs kill him. I feel like I've seen that cigarette lighter dude before. The last time I saw him, like, I've seen that same profile picture. He was insane. Like, this dude had something seriously wrong with him. Luke, did Jesus die a spiritual death?
No.
What do you say to that?
Spiritual deaths are non-existent. The only deaths that exist are physical ones. Maybe he was taken up in a chariot of fire. Maybe that's where Tiki Taki went. Up in a chariot of fire. Let's see.
It's so ironic to me that people, when it comes to church people, they always bring up this whole idea about the devil, but even within the Bible itself, the devil doesn't seem to be that bad of a dude. Really, he doesn't seem to even be remotely bad until you get to the story of Job, but that's God's fault. God literally told him, we got to bet, go do it.
Yeah, I think the only downside of Satan in the Old Testament is that he should have told God to stick it. Instead of like wanting, but that's just me. Yeah. Katie says, do you believe Jesus existed historically? Plausibly. I give it a 51% chance that a historical Jesus existed, and a 49% chance that he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he existed at all. I mean, there's always a possibility that somebody named Yeshua existed, but I would doubt that it's the biblical sense, and historically we don't really have anything that would say that there was such a person, or that's at least to my knowledge. I don't even really think it matters if he existed or not, because most of the time he's talked about it's in the biblical sense. So
Smelliot argument said, your husband bought you a nice right? A nice right? What does that mean?
I have no idea. And I did want to say this to Luke here. Well, the serpent isn't considered the devil in any way, shape, or form. If the first thing that was said was that the Lord made him, and that refers to Yahweh. Yahweh made this serpent, and he didn't persuade Eve. Eve nor Adam had any idea what good or bad was. There was no way to say that they had any knowledge of this, because they had to eat from a tree to even learn it. So, and he didn't really persuade them. All he did was say, if you eat from this, you're not going to die. I don't see how that's persuasion.
Elliot says ring. Oh, sure. I mean, I don't have a husband, Elliot. I mean, I get it that you think that that's like I mean, you think that being gay is bad. So you think that using gay as an insult will somehow hurt me, but it doesn't. Like, there's nothing wrong with being gay. So like saying your husband doesn't really offend me or anything like that. He's trying, St. Brown says that Elliot is trying to flirt with me. It might be just that. I mean,
It
guys.
might be, bro. Cam might have some competition.
I was about to say, I was about to say, Elliot, I'm sorry. I'm kind of already taken. I've got a baddie, and anyways, sorry, Elliot. I'm not. Yeah, Elliot, I'm not interested. My bad, my dude. So, hi, Cam. Anyways, but yeah, it's such a weird phenomenon. Okay, that's because I was I told him to go over there and gave you a follow. So we're gonna get you to 10K. Anyways,
yes,
it never ceases to amaze me that Christians continue to use gay derogatorily against us. Like I could see why Christians would use that amongst themselves, because like two Christians who are homophobic, of course, one would say you're gay to the other, and they would get all I picked the right time to pop in. Are you slow? Elliot, are you ableist?
is like this an actual argument called the Elliot argument? Is that an actual argument? Is that just his username?
No, he's like a very like hubristic, prideful little twat who named a really shit argument that he came up with after himself, and then likes to lie about converting 20,000 atheists or some bullshit like that.
My ass.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, he's also a coward. He never comes up on atheist panels to debate his point.
Wait a
minute, one second.
Yeah, so
Cam says Cam arrives precisely when she means to. She's never late. She arrived precisely when she means to. That's on point.
Yeah, I don't know why people ever try and make that argument of being an atheist isn't possible or anything. Like it's some sort of claim that we're making here. It's simply, I don't believe in any religion, and that's what I don't. And Elliot, I mean, if you were so confident in yourself, I'd love for you to come up. I'd love to hear these 6 questions for atheists that you have that Lath is talking about. I think Dalton would also love to hear this as well. I'm very curious.
Arcana says Cam's last name is Gandalf. No, it's Gamgee. Her last name is Gamgee. Camwise Gamgee. How did the government convince you that the moon landing was real? It didn't take much, just video evidence, science, and I'm not an idiot, so they didn't have to try that all that hard. Camwise Gamgee is the name. Hell yeah. Gamgee? Oh god. Question: Arab Christians and Arabic Bibles refer to God as Allah and not Father. Why? Well, no, they refer to an Arabic translation of the Bible would refer to God both as Allah and as whatever the Arabic equivalent for Father would be. I'm guessing it would be like Abba or something like that. I have to go back to work. Have fun, y'all. Yes, ma'am. Will do. Whenever an Arabic New Testament says God, it will say Allah. And whenever it says Father, the Father, it'll use the Arabic equivalent.
Yeah, it really irked me so bad when I was first told about the 2 creation stories, because I know I know a lot about El and the whole origin thing, and I never made that distinction once between them saying God and then the Lord. That it irked me so bad.
Oh, here's a fun contradiction for everybody. Speaking of which, question. Actually, you know what? Instead of telling you guys, I'm gonna make a poll that is a trivia question, and then let's see how many people can get the trivia question right. Let's see. Edit. Let's see. And then delete that, and then save, and start. There we go. 3 minutes to answer the question. let's see if y'all can get the question is, did Abraham know God by the name Yahweh? Put your votes in the box.
I hope I'm fucking right, because I can't remember that right now.
I gotta find a way of doing that for all of you lovely, lovely, beautiful people over on YouTube, doing polls and stuff like that, so that you guys can participate in quizzes too. Because I don't want to leave you guys out. I love y'all.
Yeah, I don't know if YouTube has that option. I've never seen it before. I'd be surprised if they do. And everybody for saying who can't see the poll, it's right below the Bible, like right where his username, it's right below that.
You heard the man. Dalton putting up his poll. You're on it. That's what I mean. Wait. Accurate. Put this guy over here.
Hey Dalton, do you want me to be here so that way whenever Christian men come up, they can feel
insecure?
Oh,
love it.
Not insecure, but like they can come up because someone without a peepee is up here. I mean, I have a peepee, but it's not a peepee. It's an innie, not an outie. Y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to hang out. Although I guess you can't technically hang out because you don't have a peepee, but you know, just chill out here. Anyways,
I'll chill in.
That's so funny. Yeah. We have flaps. Late. They can hang out too. This is true. I you know, I wasn't thinking clearly, obviously. She's hilarious. I know, yeah. All right, 44 seconds left on the clock to see. There's 112 people in here, and only 20 of y'all have participated in the trivia. Come on, surely more of you know the answer than that.
It wouldn't let me vote.
Oh, it's because you're on the panel.
No, it's because I'm a moderator. They don't let mods vote anymore.
Right, that's what it was. Ooh,
They're so poopy.
Snitch, howdy, partner. Good to see you. One of my favorite science communicators on the app. It's you, Quantanaut, Blitz, and Forrest Valkai. Those are my faves.
Oh, I love Blitz and Forrest.
Yeah, those are my boys.
I've never gotten to talk to Forrest.
I haven't gotten to spoke to Forrest yet either, but I am friends with Blitz. Okay. So, the question was, did Abraham know God by the name Yahweh? 20 of you voted no. 5 of you voted yes. And the correct answer is, you're all right. Because if you read the book of Genesis, it says that Abraham knows God by the name Yahweh. And if you read the book of Exodus, it says he doesn't know God by the name Yahweh. So there you go. Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a loser. No prizes. Fuck all of you.
Actually, if we want to be true to the text, it says, I am who I am.
Oh,
and
no.
Then
it says specifically, not just I am. If we read Genesis, for example, in Genesis 22, we hear that.
The Lord.
Yeah.
And the footnotes is Yahweh.
Yeah. Abraham calls the name of the mountain that he almost killed his kid on because he's crazy. Yahweh Yireh, which means either the Lord sees or the Lord provides, but depending on how one understands that last Hebrew word there. But he knows the name Yahweh. And then in Exodus chapter 6, God tells Moses, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I appeared as El Shaddai, but by my name Yahweh, I was not known to them. So everyone's the winner. Everyone's the loser. Good to see you all here. My winners and my losers.
I could have sworn there was a verse where Abraham is referred to as knowing Yahweh. I can't remember the verse. I swear there is.
Yeah, Genesis 22 verse, I think it's around 18 or something like that. But we have here Contrary Warrior. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation at hand. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am. Thank you for that.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Oh, regular ones. I, you, me, whatever. Roy. I'm identified with being a male.
So
whatever it is.
So what third person pronouns do you go by?
He.
Okay. And are you a Christian?
Not the way Christians decided. No, I'm a heretical guy. They would have burned me on the stake for my alternative beliefs.
I just define Christian as someone who believes Jesus was the Christ and the Son of God, and everything else is tangential to me.
The Son of a God is an honorary title. I don't believe that he was literally the Son of God. No, it's a metaphor.
Are you here to? Do you have like a answer for any of the 5 questions on the board?
Well, I noticed I come by, I listen to you for 10 minutes at a time, and I was lucky because as a Catholic, we didn't have to believe in the Bible. We only had to believe what was in the Apostles' Creed. So I never made them.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. I don't have to believe in. Oh, no. Look, I went to Catholic school, got great A's and all that shit. A Catholic is only required to believe what's in the Apostles' Creed. I don't have to believe.
Here, 1 second. Let's see.
Yeah, I've also heard that same thing by other Catholics. Like I've heard so many things that I've been corrected on.
Catholics don't know much about the. I mean, a lot of Catholics don't know much about Catholicism.
Whoa! We studied the Bible an hour a day for years in grade school, and an hour on catechism.
I haven't gotten this guy off the shelf in a long time, but I have here the catechism.
Are you dialogue? Are you?
1 second. I'm just having to
correct. I'm just having to correct you.
Methuselah. I'm just having to correct you real quick. So, I have here the Catechism of the Catholic Church. This is my copy, the Ascension edition, because I was a fancy Catholic, and I haven't gotten this bad boy out in a long time. Now, let's see whether or not Catholics are supposed to read in the Bible. Let's see. Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph, let's see, 101. Let's see. What does the catechism, the official catechism of the Catholic Church say? Let's see. Let's see. In order to reveal himself to men in the condescension of his goodness, God speaks to them in human words. Indeed, the words of God expressed in the words of men are the very way like human language, just as the word of the Eternal Father. Through all of the words of sacred scripture, God speaks only one single word, his one utterance, in whom he expresses himself completely. Let's see. Let me see.
Oh, God.
God is the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 105 says God is the author of sacred scripture. Paragraph 107 says
I'm not required to believe it. Look, the Pope can tell me I'm not supposed to use birth control. I don't have to believe he's correct about that. There are all.
Yeah, well, actually, you do. Actually, you do, sir.
Actually, yeah.
No, you don't have to believe.
What? Actually, if the Pope makes a statement, if the Pope makes a
no.
Yeah. So if the Pope makes a statement ex cathedra on any matter of dogma, you as a Catholic, you would have been obliged. Like, listen, contrary warrior, you're not a Catholic anymore. You can just say you didn't understand Catholicism all that well. I'm not a Catholic. You were just wrong.
There are 2 infallible doctrines. The 2 infallible doctrines are the Immaculate Conception and the Ascension of Mary. Those are the only infallible doctrines. There are no other infallible doctrines.
Yeah, yes, there is.
Where does it say that?
No, those are the only 2 infallible doctrines.
Let's take
Where does it say that?
Let's fact check that real quick.
God. You know what?
Where does it say that?
Infallible dogmas.
Where does it say that? Can you stop berating people?
Yeah. How many infallible dogmas are there in the Catholic Church? Let's see if there's only 2. Let's see. Well, let's just hurry up and give me a list. Any ex cathedral papal definition. Let's see. The Trinity. Christ's 2 natures at the Council of Chalcedon. These are infallible dogmas. Crazy.
But since the Pope was declared infallible, the Pope back then wasn't infallible. The Pope's infallible doctrines only occurred after 1885, after the First Vatican Council, which is where the Pope was given infallibility. The Church Council has infallible doctrines.
Sir, don't raise your voice.
Here, just
don't raise your voice on this panel.
Why don't you open your ears? I won't have to.
Here, just let him ramble like an idiot. It makes for good content. I'm going to keep talking while he talks, though. Do Catholics believe that the Pope became infallible once it was
Oh
declared,
God.
or was
Interrupting my coloring time.
is
That
this
screaming and hooting
something?
and hollering.
I think
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
always was. Oh, okay.
Ew, do you talk to your wife like that?
Now he's gone
Ew,
because you
like
don't.
what a piece of shit.
Someone who calls women a bitch. No, you're out. Bye, loser. Catholic theology explicit on this point. The Pope did not become infallible in 1870. The doctrine is that papal infallibility always existed, but was only formally defined at this time. So, listen, like he was just a bad. I mean, I guess he was a bad Catholic because I was a Catholic and I knew that what he was saying. It's a reason I knew that he was bullshitting me because, like, I was a Catholic and I knew for a fact that what he was saying was inaccurate. So he was just I don't know, he just fucking hates Catholics. Like, I hate Catholicism too, but for the pedophilia, not for the like the not understanding Catholic dogma. Okay, sorry, bud, you're going back. You're going back on the shelf and won't be used again for probably years.
I just realized something. I'm pretty sure with the poll question, no was the correct answer. I'm pretty sure he said Genesis 28. And the reason I say that no was the correct answer, if this is the chapter you're speaking of, it says that God gave to Abraham. So this wouldn't have been Yahweh, this would have been El.
In your face, Dalton. I was right.
Wait,
I know my Bible better than you.
Wait, what? What are we talking
Don't
about?
listen to that. I was lying.
I did not have my headphones on.
Don't listen to that.
Well, I didn't, if I'm not mistaken, you said that the other part was in Genesis 28.
22.
Where it says 20. Oh, okay. So I was reading from the wrong thing. Okay. I was about to say, because, yeah, let me.
The Akeda.
The footnote, Jay, the footnotes say Yahweh whenever it says Lord, and whenever the Lord was speaking to him, and
Well, I know that.
Oh yeah, so it's in there.
Let's see. The Elliot argument. He's taken Elliot. We don't call him Elliot anymore. We call him Smelliot. Mary Magdalene wasn't a perfume bearer, by the way. No, she was there to anoint the body of, to take care of his body. That's the job of women in the ancient world. Weirdly enough.
You do realize that perfumery originates from herbalism, right? Like you in order to be an herbalist and a perfumer, you have to have the same knowledge or very similar knowledge of plants and like how to extract what you want from those plants, right? Like,
okay, I got a few super chats here, and I can't wait to get to Adam Carmona's, which is the last one, which is really good because it's got lots of good information in it. So 1 second, we're gonna read these in
order. From NB with the $2. Yahweh Jesus is real. Repent.
Oh, you love your Yowie and Yuri. My Peggy.
And NB again with the $2. Father in Arabic is Abu, formally. Yeah, Abu.
I knew it had to be some sort of cognate of Abba. So Abba is Hebrew for father or daddy, and Abu is it would be the Arabic.
And then we have here at Nicotine Beans again with the $5. I wouldn't plug, but science. You asked. It's called Why Dinosaurs May Have Cursed Us with Aging.
I'll check it out and see if it's any good.
And at Mindforged Miracle with the $2, Catholics never know their own catechism.
Yeah, there's a lot. Listen, guys, any way of properly shitting on Catholicism, I'll do it. But I'm also fair. So if someone says something that's inaccurate about Catholics or says something that's inaccurate about Protestants, I will correct them. And but the fact of the matter is, Protestants tend to know more about Catholics tend to know more about what Protestants believe than Protestants know about what Catholics believe. It's just the fact of the matter. And it seems like some of these ex-Catholics are also very uneducated on what Catholicism teaches. Speaking of which,
I was actually raised Catholic from very young, and when you pulled that catechism book out, I had a reaction to it because it was so familiar, but I hadn't seen one like it since like first grade.
Mine's
So
fancy.
obviously I don't.
Mine's fancy. It's from Ascension Presents.
At Adam Carmona with the $10, the motu proprio apostolic letter ad twendam fidam declared that second order pronouncements of the ordinary magisterium are de facto infallible. So basically, everything they teach is infallible. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a bit mistaken on the idea that there was only 2 infallible teachings from the Catholic Church. No. Catholics are obliged to believe in sacred scripture and sacred tradition as if they are equal. So you have to believe in the Bible. At least that's the case. You have to believe in the Bible in order to be a Catholic. Now, obviously, I would say that there are no Christians that truly believe in the entirety of the Bible because that's an impossibility due to the contradictions of the Bible.
I was seeing in the comments people asking, what does it mean to prepare the body? And so I wanted to be an undertaker, so I know a little bit about this. And it even is a custom in modern Jewish practices. A person would stay with the body and cleanse it, give it like a sponge bath, or, you know, do various things to look after the body until it was time for burial. And it's still done modern day in many cultures. It's not just a Jewish practice. It dates all the way, like even people in modern day India do it. And I want to say there's a couple of other people like in Asia that do it modern day. Couple in South America. There's a lot of people that do it still.
Oh.
It's basically making sure things stay tidy while the start of decomp begins the process. That's what it means.
Are chemicals used also, says Katie?
Back then, no. Modern day, possibly. But if we're talking about strictly Jewish customs, no.
Let's see. Let's find out. What was the first century Jewish way of preparing bodies for entombments?
You know, what happened to Justin, Dalton?
What do you mean?
The Catholic AI apologist, that thing?
Oh, what about him? I got him to admit that God knows what it's like to get pegged. That's what happened.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In first century Jewish burial practices, the cultural context, like the Gospels, that was a fairly standardized. So immediately burial. Okay, let's see. Wash the body, so ritual cleansing. Anointing with oils and spices. After washing, the body was treated with perfumes, oils, and spices. Substances like myrrh and aloes were used. This was not embalming in the Egyptian sense, no organ removal or preservation chemistry. Instead, it helped to honor the dead and mask odor during decomposition. And then the body was
beginning
wrapped.
phases, and it also, like, myrrh is a natural antimicrobial, so it helps unalive the bacteria that would cause smell or really rapid decomp in those 3 days.
Yeah. And then they would be wrapped in linen. And then, like, basically what would end up happening, and this is the part I am aware of, is that about a year later, after the body has decomposed and is now like mostly bone, the bones are removed and placed into a box called an ossuary, which was something that was really only practiced in like first century Palestine, first century AD, first century BCE. Like that way, if you find someone in a box in Judea, you can know for certain that, oh, this is around the time when this person was buried.
Well, actually, Dalton, what's really interesting is there's a show called Beneath the Sand or Legends in the Sand or Hidden Beneath the Sand or something like that. And they were recently talking about how cultures, even in South America, would have their loved ones' bones placed in an ossuary-like box. So it's a very common practice among the world. Like humans, whenever we like really stand back and take a look at human practices from all over the globe, they're very, very similar and they're very interesting.
Yeah, but the Judean people were only doing it in this very small period of history, and it stops after 70 CE. They don't do it anymore because of something happened in Jerusalem.
Really?
Yeah. But we found the ossuary
always.
Well, 1 second, Jay. We found the ossuaries of like a number of different Judean people from this time period, including. We have an ossuary from Caiaphas, the character responsible for putting Jesus to death in the Gospels. We have an ossuary for him. And then on top of that, we have an ossuary for one individual by the name of Yeshua bar Yehoseph, or Jesus, son of Joseph. Whether or not it is the Jesus, son of Joseph, well, that's the thing in question. This person was also buried with a Yehuda bar Yeshua, a Judah, son of Jesus. He was also buried with two women, one named Maria, or Mary, and another one named Mariamne, which was a name for Mary Magdalene amongst early Christians. So there is some question as to whether or not this Yeshua figure was the guy, and we found his body.
I heard about that. Yeah, that's so interesting. But like, I think it's really like, okay, I think it's fantastic in the traditional, actual sense of the word to automatically assume that it would be given divine power like that. You know what I mean? Like, even if it was a person, to say that it was Jesus the divine would be questionable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it turns out it was Jesus, I don't think the apostles would have had really any problem with sorry, I got distracted. Sorry, would have had any problem. I have text messages over here I'm reading. Have any problem with there being a body left over, because at least it doesn't seem like Paul would have had any problem with Jesus having a body. It seems like he believed that Jesus wasn't like bodily resurrected like that. Lay the head and go shiny. Fact, I'm like a raccoon with a spoon over here.
No, in fact, it would make more sense if there was a body, because then it would make Paul's visions true and verified, and not, oh, he hit his head on horseback. Obviously, he has a concussion. It would actually be like, oh, maybe this was real.
I know that's a popular talking point. I don't think Paul hit his head, because that assumes that narrative comes to us from the Acts of the Apostles, and I don't think Acts is a historical book. So I don't think Paul hit his head. I think he just because you don't need to hit your head in order to have a visionary experience. So I think Paul just I think he felt an immense amount of grief from murdering Christians, allegedly. But I don't necessarily buy the whole I don't even think the Acts of the Apostles says he was riding on a horse, by the way. Yeah, it just says they were walking about and he fell down. I think the whole horse riding thing actually comes from Renaissance art that depicts Paul as riding on a horse, interestingly enough. But I'll have to go back and read Acts 9 to see if there's anything explicit in there about a horse or not. But yeah, like the thing about Paul is there's a lot of things people like to say about Paul that we actually don't have any reason to believe. Like, he was from Tarsus. His name was Saul. He was a student of Gamaliel. All of these facts come to us from the Acts of the Apostles. And there are some scholars who have really good reasons to believe that the Acts of the Apostles is a forgery. And for anyone who would like to know more about this topic, the book I would suggest for you would be On the Dating of Acts by Richard Pervo, Pervo.
I mean, to be fair with you, Dalton, I think most of the Bible is just not true. I mean, I feel like you know this about me, though. Like, I feel like most of the Bible just isn't true. Like, sure, there was a guy named, you know, whoever, whatever, but did he actually part anything? Maybe his wife's legs a couple times, but that's about it. You know what I mean?
You beat me to it.
Like, you see, but that's what I mean. That's what, hey, and you know what? Nice guys finish last, but the bad girls get there first. I need to fucking stop. I need to fucking stop. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have no filter today. It's just coming out.
That's so funny.
You know,
A Butter 29 says my cat is sat on my ribs, but he's fat and it hurts. Awesome. Ashley says no, we love it. By the way, Jag. What were you gonna say, Jay?
You know, this is a complete different thing from Paul, but the way the Egyptians would bury people with taking out their organs and everything has always been so interesting to me. I've always wanted to know.
You know how they took out the brain?
No, I don't.
They took these long pliers and went right up the nose and pulled out the brain.
Oh God!
In through the nose like a rubber hose.
Yeah, they would take their organs. They would make small incisions and reach in and take out their organs and stuff, and then they would put them into these jars called canoptic jars, which is not to be confused with the word Coptic. Canoptic, Coptic, two different words. They would use nitrin. I think it's called nitrin, or natron, which is like this salt substance that's actually used as a preservative to preserve the body, and then wrap them up. It used to be only reserved for very special people, but by the 1st century BCE, mummification had become very commercialized, and the average person could be mummified.
What I've always wanted to know is how they came to this idea. What originally made them be like, this is how it's done and this actually works. You know what I mean? Like, what was that first reason?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I imagine
That's my job.
Yeah. Do you know why?
More than likely it started as a way of preserving loved ones, right? Like, we modern day have like urns and mausoleums and stuff like that, or even grave sites where we can go and quote unquote visit our past loved ones, or even hold our past loved ones. Like me, I hold my mom sometimes because she's in an urn. But so that's the idea, right? And so it comes from wanting to keep your loved ones somewhat close. That way you can keep somewhat of an eye on them or have some part of them still with you.
Yeah, I understood that part. What I meant there, should have been a little bit more clear there. And also, Lath asked a very good question that I'm also curious about.
Yeah,
is
I'm looking at it
how
right
did they
now.
know it worked? Like,
Oh,
like the first time they did it, how did they think it was going to work out? Like, did they know for 100%
Like beef jerky. Like beef jerky. So we've been unaliving animals and salting and preserving them for way longer than we've had burial practices. And humans have this awesome thing that we do where we're like, that worked with this. I'm pretty sure it'll work with this because it's like the same thing. And it did. And then ever since then we were like, I'm gonna put this bitch's brain in a box.
What was the reason for the taking out of organs? I know it was to preserve this stuff, but did that actually help in preserving the body, or was that
Yes.
just for the...
Yeah, so whenever we're alive, we have gut bacteria, right, that help digest our foods and all that kind of stuff. Whenever we unalive, those create gases and create bloat and start, decomposing the body.
That's
And
exactly
so,
what I was gonna guess. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I was like, I bet it's got something to do with the gases building up in our
yeah, so
body.
it would help prevent that and the body, I hate to get graphic, but pop from gas buildup. And it would also help prevent further and faster decomposition by removing the bacteria that cause the original and first like onset of that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And now, Lath's question, is mummification allowed in the U.S.?
So
It depends.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems here that in the U.S., the handling of humane remains is regulated at the state level, but across the states, the permitted methods are pretty consistent: burial, cremation, alkaline hydrolysis, and donation to science.
Alkaline hydrolysis is basically water cremation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly
the
what it
other
says.
thing, the other thing, if you donate your body to science, you can actually donate it to specific research facilities or institutions that do certain things like mummification decomposition studies, and they'll do that for your loved one for you.
Ooh, doesn't that somewhat go back to when Einstein's brain was stolen? How he didn't want that, and scientists were taking his brain and that whole 9 yards?
That's a question for Google, baby. I don't know that one. I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm
this
a
rem-
wealth of knowledge with a bunch of random shit. That's not one of them. I'm
This-
sorry.
This reminds me. Okay, so we had fun earlier this week on My Lives when we did the torture of Dalton with spices. So my mom brought me something else, and in about 3 weeks we will be pulling out this bad boy here. It's called Hot Garage Gang.
Oh, you're gonna die.
Fire Mango Mimi Hot Sauce South Florida edition. It is it looks pretty spicy, but I'm gonna find something to eat these with, and I will again probably I'll decide on what the minimum super chat will be for me to eat something from this, but like I will probably take a whole like drink of it for like a high enough one. I'll see what I decide to do that day, but yeah, it's gonna be a show. I'll wear the tux again, everyone, too.
Have you ever watched Hot Ones?
Yes.
You could do something similar to that, where like people ask you questions and then you take a bite and you have to try and answer or something.
I would have to have more of these that get progressively hotter, I think, to make that. Maybe that's a thing in the future. I would like to see that. That'd be fun.
I would love
Right,
to
yeah.
watch that.
That would be fun. I was just saying, I was telling Leave in the comments that, or somebody else, I think, that I saw you on E's live earlier answering all those Bible questions, and E was just like so amazed by how much you knew. It would be really fun to turn that into a game for everyone.
That's something I don't get to do very often, is because like I obviously, if you watched that little interaction, I don't know everything about the Bible, but I know enough that it's fun. Duncan, do you have a PO box? Not yet. I don't have a PO box because it costs money, and but I depending on how much it costs, I'll look into getting one so that you guys can send me stuff to do unboxings. But I also, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, we have these super chat. I mean, not super chats. These comments here. Contra Didi says, "Rest in peace, Dalton's butt." Yes. Lath says, "Get the antacids ready." We'll do a pour box. So a PO box is a basically it's like instead of letting you guys know where I live, I get a PO box and you guys can send it to the PO box, and it'll allow me to receive packages without anyone knowing where I live.
You can also send it to my address, and then I might forward it to Dalton, depending on if it's good. If it's good stuff, I'm keeping it. If it's hot sauce or anything like I don't want, then I'll send it on to Dalton.
Do you still
like
have
a letter? I'll send that to Dalton.
Do you still have my address?
I don't know. Maybe I would have to look for it, but maybe.
There's a few select
I don't
people.
know.
There's a few select people who do have my address. Like I received my friend Micaiah, also known as Jay. it's on low battery, sent me this like Kindle for reading, which I use. So I'm like super appreciative of that. And of course, Justin sent me this mic. Justin sent me this mic and sent me this PC down here. So, you know, W to Justin for that. Our big daddy Justin. Thank you, Papa.
Damn, Justin, daddy ballin'. Okay, so I need to date Justin. Okay.
He had a backup one. And that's why he sent
Damn, he got money. Okay. I don't know if Justin got money. Don't listen to me.
When you move.
Actually, you know what? I see his super chats and I see his stones. He might have money because have you looked at the price of rocks? Them bitches are expensive.
I have access to Justin's information and let's just say no comment.
Pro tip though. Wait.
See?
Just for full disclosure, and anyone in chat too, you can get rocks for free outside.
Yeah.
But okay, certain rocks you can only get somewhere. Oh, he's dating someone? I didn't know that he was dating someone. Ooh, okay. Never mind. I see Justin as like my father. Just laying that out there. I coded him on on Disco, and I'm like, hey Justin, break this one down. Why are we chopping off some man's foreskin with a rock? Why are we doing that? That's what I do. That's what I do with Justin. I'm like, hey Justin, explain why we're doing this.
I asked a similar question in Thinkers Live. Do you know Thinker?
Yeah, I love Thinker.
Yeah, of course I know Thinker.
I asked what he did with all of them, and the panel basically decided that he wears them like rings on his fingers.
I would imagine that he doesn't wear them on like his fingers. I would think he like puts them on. You know what I mean?
The 11th finger? What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like he
okay.
puts them on. Yeah. Like he tries them on.
Oh wow.
Like wigs.
Yeah. But anyways, we are at the end of the show now. And I need to find someone, a cock ring? What the hell, Lathe? Anyways.
Cock wigs.
Wait, actually, before you go though, I really just came up because I wanted to pitch something to you earlier.
Oh yeah.
There was a man and you were discussing circles and like spheres, and he was like, I don't know. And you're like, let's move on. We don't have an expert to talk about this. I just wanted to offer my services. I know about squares and cubes. I know about triangles and pyramids, circles and spheres.
To be clear, he wanted to talk about flat earthism. That's why I wanted to, because like I just assume that people are smart and not stupid and that they don't believe in flat earth. But as soon as they do, I need someone like Quantanaut here to like, you know, stick it up their butts and show them why they're wrong. Guys, the person that we're going to be sending you over to both on YouTube and TikTok is going to be John Cohen. Go over to John Cohen and tell him that the Bible guy sent you. We love John's channel. I just discovered it like a month and a half ago and I'm an addict already. And after this, I'm going to go and do some edits from Justin and then play Starfield and eat dinner. So anyways, John Cohen is live. Yep.
Don't forget, everyone, wash your cock wigs.
That's that one too. Anyways, so I've been
hang them to dry.
Okay, so I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.
Like a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. rows of prophets, the stars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guide, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words aflame. He dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky, he breaks the chains of every lie. Logos, Logos, the word and the flame. Reason shall rise and truth has a name. The Bible guide, he shines with reason's holy light. Through myth and faith, through earth and sky, wherever I write, the Bible guide.